What is up? I think we're live. Looks like we are. So, what happened? Like the last, oh yeah, so like the last 2 days I've been just kind of like making stuff offline. I made, what is it, the zigzag ladder thing. Oh yeah, the fire escape. Made a fire escape. That's like the most complicated thing I've made so far in Houdini. Wasn't that bad. And also made like some more building stuff, and what's missing now is just some like doors that match like a kind of like New York City set. So I'm gonna do some kind of technical door modeling. It's kind of super boring, but has to be done. Nice to be procedural. Then I have a couple different like facade types, very New York City looking, that I want to make. But I need like the door part first, like the actual door panel itself. So I switched into this mode. That's good. So, yep, that's got to go down. I've made, except for the fire escape, I've made all of this stuff in Cinema 4D. That's why it hasn't taken that long to do it in Houdini. I kind of know how it all goes together, but the fire escape was is way more complicated than I would normally approach in any program, really. Oh, have I not seen that? I want to see this. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make some like less boxy stuff soon. I just want to make sure I have like the simple modeling stuff down in Houdini before I start to get into like more freestyle things. A lot of these I've looked at already. But yeah, okay, so let's see here. Ferris wheel. What's that gigantic axle? What are these things? Oh, those are the pods for them? That's really weird. That is super odd. It's very weird looking. Research facility. I just like looking at other people's level art. I've seen this before. Did they re-upload it? I like these things. This is a pretty big one. I remember I've gone through like some of this before. What's up, Larry Knight? Rohan. I appreciate that. You're in Nepal. Wow. Studying class 11. Does it mean 11 at night? No basic motion graphics? Well, yeah. That's a good start. I think you have to have like a decent understanding of just like general 3D, and then like a kind of need to want to like program it basically. But I think this is like kind of it's a big piece of like the direction of the industry is to go keep things procedural. You look at the success of like Substance Designer, Substance Painter, and like how quickly that took over. I mean, there's like, I can't imagine there's any game studio that's not using that type of stuff. So I think it's good. I think it's the same for modeling, especially for like repetitive stuff like doors and this sort of thing. Am I gonna do any pipes? Eventually, yeah, sure. I think pipes are pretty easy. You basically just like sweeping circles down splines and beveling the spine. But yeah, okay, I wanted to like actually more mindfully look at this for a second. So I haven't made too many things like this yet where the walls are made up of like corrugated iron and wood. I don't know if I like the framing of this, but I like a lot of the ideas that are present in this. And then we can start to do some like procedural destruction. So not everything I'm making now is like a cube, but with Houdini, I'm pretty sure it's easy to like just up-res it. I think there's a lot of tools for like adding like cracks and stuff all procedurally. I don't have to necessarily go to ZBrush. I don't really want to. I started using ZBrush again to like do some high poly stuff, and I was like, I don't like this program. It just like slows things down for me. So I'd rather just keep it all procedural and iterative. Okay, so do I have the help file open? Is that what I just saw over there? Nah, we're good. So this is the a fire escape I made. There's like one or two aspects of it that aren't very nice, but the whole thing is procedural. Like I can change every shape here has a slider. Like everything about it. The one piece that's bad is this, because it's just Vex drawing 4 points, and it doesn't like do like width preservation. So I just manually have offsets for it. So it's still procedural. I can still art direct it however I want, but it's not. I have to think a little bit. And the other thing are these stairs are kind of ridiculously thin, because the the width and dimensions of this stair stringer is of course determined by the opening of this, which determines like its width, like how far it has to go, and then the level height, like how far above it. And I think that's how it would have to be in the real world too. So I didn't make like an artificial like way to make this like thicker, so it's a little funny. But that's a fire escape for sure. I could add like some more details. I might use this top part as like window verandas later. I can make this like on a curve, so these can like kind of bow out, and they're all the parts that should be are being generated from splines and profiles. So if this wanted to be like, you know, some like really ornate looking stuff, and these could turn into columns really easily. This unit or this asset might get like flipped into like other things as well. And it's the first time I've written a stair that's actually procedurally drawn this way. I usually define step height. This one, step height, was being calculated in Vex. Basically, it was basically all Vex math to make the ladder work. But that's something I've been wanting to make for a while, and I had to make it like gigantic because to have an Unreal Engine character fit through that hole and go down the staircase, it can't be real world dimensions. Like real world fire escapes are like humans barely fit through them, so I had to kind of like double up all the dimensions. But that is the procedural part of this that's really nice, is I just designed the whole thing here, and it's just like how wide, you know, how wide this way, where's the main one, how big is the opening, you know, everything is tweakable later. Get a super weird one. Like real world fire escapes are tiny. They're like this, and they're probably not that wide either. They're like, I mean, it depends, but they're like, you gotta make the opening small. They're tiny. They're like super thin. Like you could barely fit out here. But real world dimensions don't really work in video games in a lot of cases. What's up, Farad? These are for Cine Tracer, yeah. You like Cine Tracer on your Mac? Everything gets washed up. Yeah, you have to turn the post-processing to high or higher epic. I gotta change that. That issue's been there since like a year ago when I launched it. I just haven't really dug into the settings too much. You just turn the post-processing up. And if you're on Catalina, Steam and Catalina are having issues still. I can't be the only person that has Unreal Engine, Steam, Catalina issues, but I actually don't know a single other Unreal Engine developer who releases for Mac. I've never met one. I know of them, but I don't know anyone personally that does it. So I'm all alone in the world with those issues. Okay, so I gotta make door stuff. I made like a pretty complicated window generator. I didn't really make any videos on it, but it's like, it could make a lot of things. So I'm not gonna have to make that part again for a while, but I don't have any door stuff. So this will be called something like doors. So I have to make the panels first, and there's a lot of different types, but I kind of have the one I want to make in mind. It's like a glass commercial door. It would fit in most of these situations. So I make the panel as an HDA, then I bring that into like a wall door generator, and then there's like the dressing of the door as well, which I have a couple ideas about that. I think like another week of making this stuff, and I can generate like everything I basically need like for a long time. But doors are happening right now, so this is what I'll be exporting eventually. So I'm just gonna call this thing like door panel. Doors are a little bit more complicated because in Unreal Engine they have to actually like open and close. That makes everything a little bit trickier. So this is also something new on that front. Whereas everything so far has been literally just like static. It doesn't move. It looks good. The collision has to get calculated, but it doesn't have to move. These have to move. So geo door panel. We're not going to need collisions for these, I don't think. No one teaches in a... Oh, wait. I know 4 software. Yep, those are good. But do you have access to YouTube? You just need YouTube. I learned all this stuff online. I didn't have any like real world teachers. It's better. Internet's better. If you go to college, they artificially slow it down. In my opinion, it's like, oh, let's stretch this course out over like 3 months. I learned Houdini in like 3 days on the internet because I just got to go as fast as I wanted to. Already in production with it, you know. It's like you don't really need like traditional school stuff, I don't think, anymore. I think that stuff's like super outdated. Like maybe for like the first programming class it's helpful to have like a teacher, but I don't know, I think hacking through it using the YouTube's pretty good. So this is the door panel controls. Should save this HIP file real quick. I'm not good at saving HIP files. And yeah, I have no idea what happened, so I'm just gonna do this. I haven't gone through like the whole Python backend and what a job is, what a money sign HIP. I don't know what these stand for. If I was piping into Shotgun like Maya and Nuke and stuff like that, I'd have to care and be shipping out render layers to people. But I don't have to do any of that shit. I'm just making meshes for now. I'm gonna get into more. I'm gonna probably have to upgrade to FX soon, but I'm gonna start making like proper Houdini things like smoke and landscapes and whatnot. But I really want to have like a really solid like SOPs foundation first. It's so early. What the hell am I doing? Oh yeah, we're gonna make doors. Doors. CT door. Let's go halfsies here. Oh, I also figured out that I should be working in this axis, which turns out is the front camera. So into positive XY, it just puts Z into negative for the front, but it's okay. Like this is the axis to work in, is XY this way, because then all your vectors look normal. You don't have like 1 0 1. You have 1 1 0, which is like how vectors should look, in my opinion. Bought a new PC. Nice. Houdini Indie, or just Houdini in general. Yeah. I should be making a new computer soon too. I'm just like so lazy. I just don't want to have to like reinstall the software. And from what I understand, I'm working with like RTX, and like the 2080 Ti's have like a kind of higher than average failure rate. So I have a couple friends who were like professional 3D artists where they've burned through like 4 2080 Ti's, and like their motherboards are fucked up, and it's like there's all these issues. So I'm like, I have like a good hardware combination, and I don't really feel like messing with it, you know. Just like let it be. I can sit on this one for a little while. Passionate internet is way faster than academics. Yeah. I think traditional schools are really slow. Because I've been through them. You know, I've done programming in college, and I've done Maya courses in college, and they're terrible. So bad. And like the culture around it, I think, is also just bad. It's not very good. It's better to be excited about it like on your own, and then just feed your interest in it with the internet. So this is door panel. You know, there's probably some people or use cases where like speaking specifically on 3D and programming, you want to do it in like a traditional academic setting, but I can't think of any at the moment. Like if I had to learn Houdini in school, I'd fucking hate Houdini. You know what I mean? Because it's like, let's go through every single thing and then all the boring stuff, and like let's do a boring assignment, and like it's so boring. Like I can't do that. I'm like, there's something that I want to make, and I want to figure out how to make it, and then when I make it, I make a video about it, and then I feel good about it, and that cycle continues over and over again, and I can get deeper and deeper into it. Whereas like I get like a grade at the end of I can't work that way. What is this? So I'm gonna make. It's early. I haven't made any classes yet. This is door something. Door panel width. Let's start with that. I'll just call it panel width. Door panel height, this panel height. It's just like blueprints too. Like 2 years in Unreal Engine, like this is how I start Unreal Engine as well. It's like it's a class that has parameters. There's no functions in this. I mean, there are functions. You can start to do Python and stuff. I haven't dug that deep into it because like I'm not like making like entire cities in Houdini. I'm literally just spitting out FBXs. But I think to go to like the next level is to like actually start to Python these together. Not really that interested in it though. Hold on. Door panel depth. Panel depth, yeah. Oh, actually, I should probably start with like a generic panel that just gets like beveled into like a 6-panel or 4-panel door. Could have that be procedural, like you choose it. But I kind of want to skip ahead to this, this glass door. I'm going to skip to the one that I want to make, and maybe I'll come back. So I'm going to make, this is, call it like door. It's kind of like the border. I'm going to call it border width. Border width. So, yeah. That's how this all starts. So I'm just going to make this door here kind of, I've been doing this for a lot of these. It's just like, it represents the bounding box of the more complicated geometry that I'm going to make. You need a new PC. Was working off a $200 laptop. Whoa, yeah. Wow. Ouch. Should we need to learn programming too? You know if you want to do programming or not. Like, you either like typing code and that seems interesting, or it seems like a fucking nightmare, and you should just like ask yourself if you want to do it or not, and you'll know. If you don't like it, don't do it. Lining up the old axis here. Oh god, okay. So gonna take a, what is this shortcut? Alt Shift C, and this is like my globals. Watch a lot of videos where people put like variables in like all the different, like on like 15 different nodes. I'm like, that's a nightmare. How would you should just put, all of them should just be on one panel. There's like no question in my head that that's the way to do it. And then just make folders, like don't distribute them over like @wrangles and all that stuff. That's a nightmare. It makes coming back in like to an old file and be like, oh cool, where the controls hidden? I'll never find out ever. There's no way of like automatically showing that either. Definitely just stick them on a null. So looking into positive x, y, negative z. Oh yeah, the other thing that throws me off pretty hard is if I don't have a what do I put? Can I put a geo? I forget if you can just ask for Tommy or Timmy out here. Oh yeah, you can. We just throw them right there. We gotta have this dude out here at all times, or else I trick myself into, I start seeing things that aren't there. Just scoot him forward one, and then what is it? X is this one. There we go. Just like sanity check that you're not drawing it like 100th the scale or 1,000th the scale or something crazy. I forget what I made the other day, and I was like, oh, this is like way too, it was like, I tend to make things too big because like everything's in meters, so it's like, oh, let's make it 1 meter when it should really be like a 1/10, like a centimeter. So some real world dimensions are something like 1 meter by 2 by like 0.05 with a border width of like say 20.2. So those are like realistic dimensions. So I just try to keep this like in as much as I can, unless it's like unless it's something that should really be modeled in unit first, like keep everything within a 1 by 1 by 1 just for the math. But stuff like this that's designed to be real world, I think it's good to start off right out of the gate in real world. So if I set this up right, this should be width, height, depth. Yeah, which is like a normal way of, you know, thinking about that. And this is the issue with working with one. It's hard to know. So, because if you work in an axis where this isn't the way, I find like a lot of the job, oh shit, is just like trying to remember what axis is what, and that's a huge waste of time. multiplied by like months or weeks. Height. And this is depth now. So this is an axis system I can live with. I remember when I first booted up Houdini, I was like, this is not workable. Like, this is going to be really bad for me, but this will not work. So the question is, when do you transform it up? For modeling a door that's like basically always symmetrical, you keep it axis modeled, and then at the end you transform it to be floor level, I think. You got a 2080 Ti? Oh, nice. Yeah, I hope it doesn't screw up. Programming is good to know. You either like it or you don't. I mean, if you can do it, you multiply your chances of getting work and building, you know, useful tools for the internet and whatever, like the world. If you can program, you can do a lot with it. I went to school for programming and then went into the film industry for 10 years, didn't touch it. But just having that knowledge has allowed me to do just like, you know, things that you can't normally do. What the fuck am I doing right now? So we could Boolean out of this. I don't like the Booleans, the geometry they make, so I've been doing something else. I like the lofts. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to construct this one a little bit differently. This is just a panel, because I need to be able to ask for multiple panels. They need to be like, they just go inside of the things I'm going to make next. So this is kind of like a basic one. I could technically be done with this, like if I just bring it up. And just know that it's like a to-do to make it a little bit different. But I want to make like a handle on it, because I'm probably gonna ship this update for Cine Tracer soon. The standing monitor, it's just like a Dell $300 4K monitor from Amazon. It's good though. Houdini or Maya? It depends what you want to do. I'd start with Maya. If you don't know Maya already, I would start with that. It's a slow start to this morning right now. Oh yeah, grid. Is that what we're gonna do? So this is gonna sweep around this thing like an outer edge, and then you change its center so that it becomes like a picture frame border. I keep meaning to make that like its own HDA, because I keep doing this over and over again, but oh well. So this is a grid. This is the like we'll call it the border grid, and this is like the profile. Also, not naming these is also chaos. The bigger your graphs get, they have to be named. Like everything, like every extrude has to be named in a reasonable way, because then you have to go find them later. So grid, profile, and how do I do this? I think I forget somehow already how to do this. Mesh. Oh, we got some setup anyway. So let's put it on XY, which is great. So I'm working in positive X. This is going to keep changing over time until I figure it out. But I work in XY, which is nice. It's the first two, spots in a vector. But then the default plane always is facing forward, which is the other way. So all my math works out if I just flip it immediately in the beginning. So the outline of this thing is also like a 2D bounding box, but then we're going to loft this around it, and then we get like a picture. We get a picture frame inset. I could also inset. This is still like a cleaner procedural way to do it though. And then this is width and height, again, XY, like kind of like as you would hope. This works for my personal to Unreal Engine workflow. I think for like general Houdini, you still want to like model into positive Z or negative Z, but it slows down all my thinking if I have to do that. So this one, we're still going to keep it centered. Yeah, so I'm going to loft along this one. I forget how this works. Do I have to make this? I made this yesterday. I've made this like 4 times actually. Every time I'm like, how do I turn this into a curve to loft? But I'll figure it out. So this one also needs to be an XY, I believe. Also needs to be flipped 180, and then it won't be inverted when you flip it around. So okay, so this is border width. Ooh, I need another one. I need We're gonna call that width, and then I guess depth. This define. Oh no, that's door. That's panel depth. Actually, panel depth will drive that, so we're good. So this one has 2. What are we doing? It's hard to tell from here. I'm just gonna just guess the parameters for now. It's this or it's flipped of what I'm doing. And panel depth is here. I need to make this its own HDA and just bring it out every time. Yeah, so there's a little thing that we're gonna loft along this one. Now, I forget if you can, or sweep it. So what if I call this the curve and this the section? I forget if this actually works. That is 100% not what I was expecting. So what are you looking at for this? What are you taking in? How did I do this before? Do I just make this as points or something? Is that what's got to go down? Like, I got to make this points. And then... Oh, I forgot about this. Grids. Oh, man. The grid ordering doesn't make it very easy for this to happen. Damn it. How have I been doing this? Yeah, because grids give you funny... I mean, they draw in grids, which is good for, like, a lot of... I've been using, like, grids and then just, like, selecting... Doing, like, multiple... group ranges, but oh, there's the points. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to draw them 0, 1, 2, 3, whereas I want them to draw them this way to make that spline. How did I do this? There's a really fast way to do this. I forget what it is. So I have this. This is fine. Oh, it's because it's points. But this needs to be a just a box spline. What's the easy way to do this? I have some real wonky ass ways of fixing the ordering using just grouping, group and blast, and then I force the reorder. Damn it. Okay, so what did I make that has this? I'm going to need to go look at the HDA. I don't feel like refiguring this out. So what did I do for this? I think it might be my window generator might do this. Where is the win? I've made so many things in the last couple of days. Wall windows. I don't have just like the wall gen. Let me see if I have my window. Oh, but then I can't look at the script for it. Wow, I've made a lot of stuff. I don't even have them in my recents. So Houdini. It's so slow to find this stuff. Houdini window. I don't know where this is. Maybe it is this one and I stuck the HDA in it. All the HDAs are like in like multiple files and stuff. So does this have the window generator in it? It does. Okay, good. This is it. So this one gets crazy. It can like, you can tell it how many windows to have in it. So this must have had that. Is it just this? Oh yeah, here it is. Outline profile sweep. Okay, so how did we do this? Let me look at this thing. Yeah, that exactly. How did I do that? What did we do here? How is this one sweeping? Yeah, this is the exact same thing, and it sweeps perfectly. What did we? How? My other one zigzagged. What is this? What? 0, 1, 2, 3. How is this working? What's the difference between this one and the other one? Polygon, quads, XY plane, and then what's this? Same setup. Quads 2, 2, and how does this sweep do it? So this is exactly. I'm just gonna fucking copy and paste this thing, but I don't know what the difference is. There's like something you have to do. Stretch around, turns. Damn, what is the difference here? God, I don't know. That's what I need. I don't know what the difference. I don't know why that one works and the other one doesn't, but. The same thing, isn't it? Can I paste that as I can work? It did. So, oh, this is looking for things that, okay. Let me just test this real quick. 1, 1. I don't understand. Center. It sucks because I'm going to have to go put this all back in a second. Oops. That's gonna be gigantic. That's what I want. I don't know why this one works and the other one doesn't. I need to figure that out from myself, just like mentally before I move on. They're the same thing, but how come this one doesn't do the thing? Let me put this back to... Oh, what's the mode? Polygon quads. Oh, now this one works? What was it default? Was it triangles before or something? What's up, Nicholas? Oh, on Twitch. Oh, damn. Yeah, I jumped ship with Twitch. It was, it's really its own island, especially with, like, I mean, not that, like, I have any crossover with, like, Ninja and Shroud, but with them gone, it's like, whoa, like, what is this platform again? Like, YouTube is just, like, a much more, like, kind of universal thing. So, what did I switch? I need to know this. Is it mesh by default? That's what it is. You switch it to polygon, and all of a sudden it's okay with this. Polygon 0, 1, 2, 3. Well, that's good to... I need to remember that. Well, anyway, there's a door. That's the border of a commercial door. And we need to double check if it's within the bounding box. So, the bounding box for the true dimension is shown on the inside. That's no good. So to fix that, we transform the profile. And it has to be parametric as well. And I believe it's half width into X is the... You just kind of mess around with which one's going to fix it. I believe it's this one, having done this a lot. There we go. That's not good at all, actually. I just typed that into the wrong one, didn't I? Hold on. It's for this. So it's negative that. Negative this one. There you go. So we're defining lengths here. This is going to be 1 meter by 2 meters. And we're inner bevel sweeping, whatever we want to call it. And we have a border of like a glass door that is here. So I'm going to and these are pretty ranged out here. Like this is... They get a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller from 1 by 2, 0.05, 0.2, but not by much. So we're quite close with the ranges as well. So doors like this are not going to be any wide. 2 meters would be like ridiculous. That doesn't really happen. But I'll say 3. Height again, max would be. You're not going to have a 4 meter tall door. In depth, you'll never have like a 1 meter thick door. You know, I'll say like 0.5. And the border width, given those that they're all this is not like a ratio like a bevel. It's like a actual dimension. It could never be, you know, what's our tallest dimension is 4. It would never be like 2. It would never get to that level. So these are rearranged, and this is still ridiculous. This is like way too much. So I'm gonna change that again. Like probably 0.5. I mean, 0.5 of a meter. I mean, that'd be like the gigantic door to have that happen. See, like even that's like it's ridiculous. It's always going to be like around here. So this is like what I have the reference on somewhere. Or I thought I did. Oh, I guess I lost it. Okay, well it's fairly easy to bring back. That's exactly what I googled some time ago. Good play, killing all you. I appreciate that. YouTube, I just like watching the VODs, to be honest. It's like, because I go back and watch my own stuff. So this is what we're making, is like commercial steel entry door. That is, I couldn't put it any better, is exactly what I'm making. So, oh, you know what? Actually, technically, I forget what the parts of doors are called. There's like the top part of the frame and the sides, and they have different names. And the bottom one's usually a bit higher. For like I think so you can kick it or you can open it with a like when you're pushing carts into it. All these things have like really practical reasons why they exist. And then when you don't model them that way, it looks like, you know, looks like your first outing in a 3D software. So you want to be able to build that in. So I'm going to make, ooh, that's not easy to do because this is all one loft. Oh, okay. So this approach is not so good because typically the bottom part's a little taller. And I don't have a way of currently doing that. Like if you look at all these doors, subtly the very subtle, like this is about, actually they're all different too. Like really you should be able to like make them all separately. So this is kind of trash how I just made that. So it could be a bevel and I just go with the bad geometry. And I was thinking about doing like parametric slicing and stuff, but then you hit issues quickly with like if you slice outside of the object, whereas bevels will just cut it right off. So there's a couple of issues. Okay, so this is gonna go Boolean, but if it was okay to make doors that were completely the same dimension, this is a good way. And I'm still just warming up for the morning, and I forgot. There's like so many gotchas in Houdini. The whole program is a gotcha. It's like, oh, you wanted to do that thing? Well, guess what? Over here and down here is a checkbox, or else it doesn't work. It's like you have to memorize like all those things. Just like this has to be polygon quads. I mean, it makes sense once you understand it, but it's like an infinite number of this. Okay, so this is a bad approach. This isn't going to work. So that's good to know. The next question is like, because I'm going to bevel it. I'm sorry. I'm going to control. We're going to use this panel now. The other question is boxes versus grids with extrudes. I have some like theories like about the difference. It's something that like doesn't like show its face until later on, is like if you've built everything from a grid versus a box. I think grids are a bit more Houdini. Like you work in 2D, you work in the least amount of dimensions needed first. Or the simplest. Like you work in points and you only go to prims if you need to. Same thing with like a shape like this. But I don't feel comfortable beveling or booleaning planes together. It just seems really weird. It's probably fine, but we're actually going to use this panel now because this is the door. And then I'm going to control an inner door. I do wish I could slice it. Like I'd rather be like, okay, like, because we need to define like a, I need the names or else I'm not going to be able to do this. Door parts. Yeah, here they are. Okay, that's like a 300 tall photo. Go ahead and, there we go. This will do it. Okay, so this is the bottom rail, top rail, and what are the sides called? Stiles, right? And then the lock rail and the mid rail. So we need to be able to say that the bottom rail, what is the height of the bottom rail? I mean, really, we should be able to calculate, like, this is how doors get, like, made. You need to be able to define bottom rail. I don't really care about the lock one, especially with the one we're making. Maybe when I make this panel door. But, like, these are literally the parameters you have to program it, you know? Or at least how I do it, because mine are supposed to be real-world objects. And, like, little tiny proportion missteps will ruin, like, an entire scene. Okay, so I'm gonna construct. Man, I could also build it like a real steel door, and like they're just actually separate cubes, and they're not all one piece of geometry. That might be the way to do it. I think that's how steel doors are actually made. Like that's not all one cast iron pieces or whatever. Like I need to see a big one of these. Let me switch this to Giganta mode, large. Are these built as one piece of iron? Like, I don't think so. Or steel or whatever. I need a good picture. We're going to make these rolling doors too. Except I need to be able to make them actually roll up in Unreal Engine. Nah, they do look like they're made from one sheet that got cut out. I could try the bridge thing. I tried using poly bridge for a while. I don't fully understand like how it works. But I could also make like a 2D door, put slices into it, blast certain faces away, and then extrude it out, and then try to bridge the inside of it. I just try not to like, I don't want to be selecting anything if I can. You can use inset and then symmetrize or just use Boolean. Here, 1 second. You can't ban on this. You can't ban here. It feels bad. Okay, we'll just hide. I think I hit the right person. Yeah. I like banning a lot better on Twitch. Simply use inset and then, yeah, inset and then go up and down, or just use a Boolean. I honestly like slicing better. Like that's how I do it when I'm in Maya or Blender, is I just like make a grid. But I'm starting to think that I mean, Boolean is like kind of okay, but you don't. So you make like an inner box, right? That's like the margin, and then you offset up and down. I guess that does handle it. It's not like I can't. I have like an. I have an offset that's from the middle. Then I'm not necessarily like calling out like what the height is at the bottom, which is I think the way to think about it. But it would get the end result. So I'll do that. Yeah. So it's like the quick way. So I'll just do a Boolean. You have to use you have to use a certain type of Boolean mode, or else it doesn't work. It doesn't become like, it doesn't triangulate correctly for Unreal Engine. But it's fine. It makes the demos look shitty because the geometry gets all bad, but it's okay. So we're gonna call this one box door cutout. So this is the same thing here minus this in every dimension besides depth. Right? Like it's a straight offset. It's a plus minus offset. It's on a multiplication. And then I'll essentially just move this object up and down, which it's not the best, but like if this was actually a panel door, I would just make them separate objects. And make sure they got UV'd in a way that they are still kind of like planar when the wood texture goes across all of them. But we'll do it this one. It's gonna get like I don't even go to Substance Painter yet. I have to commit all my dimensions before I'm gonna go through that whole process. So I just stick like a random Substance Designer texture on there. So the cutout's gonna be the same width. Wait, let's look at it and template this one. Okay, it's templated. So same width minus, no, this one. I have separate control now, which maybe I do want that. We are going to have like inset width and inset height. We want these as separates now. So door, border, height. Border height. I don't like that name. I don't like these names too much. And then we're going to have a third one now, which will be door, call it the height offset, I guess. Doesn't really matter what we call it. I think that's about right. Give that a shot. So we'll make them, so the height, we'll make this one thinner. So we'll say 0.1, 0.2, we'll keep the offset at 0 for now. So when we're doing width minus this one, yeah, this one. I still have not made this a hotkey. It really needs to be a hotkey. So that's not. Oh, we're not centered. That's fine. We'll center it right after. And then the height is the panel height minus the offset, border height offset thingy. Minus this one. There's a chance it's minus times 2 of these, but we'll find out. Depends how you want to think about it. And then depth, because it's a Boolean, I'll just make it twice the panel depth. Though I think Houdini doesn't need that kind of buffer. I don't need to chance it. And then it needs to be centered. Oh, is it centered already? It is, right? Because it's a box. The box primitive is centered by nature. So that's pretty good. So that's our cutout. And so what are these numbers looking like? Okay. So I'm just going to rearrange these now. If you leave this to the end, it's a nightmare. It's like, then you have like 50 things you need to go think about all the parameters the whole time. So width 0.5, it will never be any of these numbers. And like it would never be a full meter either. So these are probably still a bit ranged out, like a little bit big. That's actually that seems pretty good. So I was wrong about 0.5. It's reasonable. Maybe these could both be 1 would be okay. And I'll do a height offset here. I'll do this one separately. Height offset is just translating on this axis, y. So, or not. Oh, we're just not looking at it. That'll get you. Yeah, and currently I actually only want it to go up, so this is actually pretty okay. If you have 3D Max experience, will this help you? I mean, yeah, you need to do a 3D in general. So if you come from, you can do a lot of this stuff in Max. It's just kind of a nightmare. But you can do a lot of procedurally typed things. It's just a lot harder to do. Like you can do this in like most programs. You're just technically then writing a plugin. Is what happens. Like you have to to get like access to like pixel, to get access to like vertice locations and like, you know, attribute stuff. You're in Maya, you have to like go into the dependency graph, ask for the geometry, go down a level, and you can do it. It's just you're just typing Python. Whereas here, like all the nodes are meant to operate at such a low level. It's much easier, and you don't have to be like compiling Python scripts the whole time. Or you don't compile Python, but constantly running scripts over and over again. In Maya, you tend to put them on like shelves, and you're clicking on them, and it's like it's slow. It's like frustrating too, I think. Combustion. Can you load Max files into Houdini? I'm not sure. I would honestly just do Houdini pure. Like don't try to like. I mean, it depends what you're trying to get done. If that's the workflow you want, is like Max FBX or Alembic or whatever into this, and then back to Max to render and V-Ray or whatever. Like if that's your workflow, then that's what you're gonna do. But you know, I think so much of it can be just done here. So it's time for Booleans. But it depends on your use case, like what you're trying to get done. Oh yeah, so you can tell it. I like this about their Booleans too, is like you can go switch the which one's doing which. Subtract. Like I can switch this here to B minus A, or both. What the hell does that mean? But anyway, I want A minus B. So it puts this little cute cut here. I wish it put that cut on each corner, like make quads. Maybe you can detriangulate. Well, this is what I end up changing. I should probably go get that plugin, that quad plugin. The guy that wrote Z-Remesher exposed it for like everybody. His exclusivity deal must have run out with what's the company that makes ZBrush? I forget. Whatever. I was watching a couple of demos with it, and I was like, "Oh, that quad remesher is pretty god tier. That's pretty good." I would just like quad remesh this now. I was like, just like connect the dots for me here. But I'm gonna do. Oh god, see that's what happens is you get that, but you need this kind of like triangulated geometry. To get it back into Unreal. And it's technically a higher poly count, not in any like, you know, like real way that matters. But it makes my Houdini demos look ugly like this. But that's how the geometry's got to come in. This is a valid mesh, it's just an n-gon and it doesn't like it. And so yeah, it needs a quad remesher just to be like, nope, just like I don't know what it would think, but you know, I would think it would be like fairly easy to just connect these dots, which is why I'm trying not to use this Boolean too much, because I end up here and I'm like, if I can make this any other way, I usually will choose it over a Boolean. But anyway, now we can do this. So when we do it this way, it's ambiguous what that height is, which I don't like that. I would rather define that by a height, but it does get done what I want, is that this is taller than that one by X amount. We just kind of do it by eye, knowing that this is a 2 meter tall door. I would say something like that. And this is good too because we have separate control over the styles. These are styles, these are rails, bottom rail, top rail, mid rail. So that's a bit more realistic perhaps. Let's look at the ref. I do make my doors a little bit video gamey. I can't, if you go with like pure real world dimensions, you can't fit through the doors. So like a real bathroom stall, if you actually modeled this to scale, no caps, your capsule would have to be like 44 or something. You wouldn't fit through it. But looking at something like this, it's a more subtle difference. There is a mid rail on some of these. Maybe I'll make that an option. Make the mid rail an option, but it's basically a nice like 4-to-1 ratio on this metal kick thing, which I'm going to model that into. Whereas this is more like a 1-to-6 ratio up at the top. So this is not quite hitting it. So we're going to go, I need more height offset on the slider. So I was wrong about this. We'll do 1. So it's more like, oh, that's not what I was thinking actually. It's more like this. No, a little bit less. And this is the part I like about Houdini, is that like you can art direct it later. Not that we've gone very far yet, but even if I have all the thing, oh, actually calculating this is going to kind of blow, but I'm close to just doing this as separate panels, but I mean, you can keep doing this like little tweaky art direction stuff like later. Once the whole thing's modeled and UV'd, you can still come back and be like, and just like change a little thing until it looks right. God, the topology on this is so crazy. Not good. It's a little bit like that, maybe. Something like that. And then eyeball the best way is to measure a real door, but I don't have one of these near me. And if we're comparing this to that, those are a little thinner than the top ones, but not that much thinner like that. Like it's going to be like this. I think like that's a pretty good representation given our kind of like video game proportion version of it. It's important though, because then you have we're going to put that little metal plate there. There is a mid rail. There's like a push bar in the middle on the mid rail, and there's a handle on the exterior part, because commercial doors open outwards, so that if there's a fire, you can run out of the building and the doors open out. So the pull handles are here, the push is on the back. I mean, we can decide that later in Unreal Engine when I rig this door to actually open, but it's kind of like the foundation. We're not going to substance at the moment, but it would be like doors really benefit from having like a high poly bake onto them in substance, because they look real video gamey if you don't have like the normal bevel here. But that's what our versions are going to have for now. So let me reorient. So we're looking at positive XY. So technically, actually, what is I think this is the front here in Houdini, and this is the back. And the way that I usually do this in Unreal Engine is that this is the interior, this is the exterior. So exterior gets a handle on one side that would have to be flippable, and then this side gets like a mid bar with a push. I don't really like this approach, but I think I need to spend like a day where all I do is like slice models up and then try to seam them back together and see if there's like group range nodes that I can do to like perfectly select the outers or bridge it or something, but I don't want to do that today. It's probably something I'll do off stream. I'll just take like 2 hours and experiment and try to figure out how the nodes work, but this will work. So I guess I could put like a mid rail, because I do like this design where we have a mid rail like that. Feels very like a school. This looks like a school. So then it's like there's two booleans, I suppose. We could do it that way too. But I'd rather be able to define, again, it's not parametric. It's not like parametrically correct if you do it that way. What this should be is like you define the panel width and height, and then you define top rail, mid rail, bottom rail dimensions, and then these are calculated from that. And then it's much easier to figure out like the math for the other parts versus like making two random cutouts that you have to do like funny math of like where its center is minus its height to get this dimension. It's like, it's not as good. I like this big picture actually. This is it. Super exciting. Oh, this is wood. I got to keep that in mind too. Wood is constructed differently, because like wood, we could just build these as separate pieces, which I might. Whereas steel is probably, it's more like one big cutout. I like this door a lot. And this, we're gonna build this outer frame thing with the middle bar. I already have like a window version of it, but and this little guy, I forget what the bottom part of the door is called, but I guess this could be 2 cutouts or one big cutout with a bar in the middle. For steel, it should really be two booleans because it is just one piece. But for this door, there's clearly like nice. You can see how it's constructed. I don't know which one I'm gonna do. Just blow up the door in Unreal. You used to, yeah, Unreal, yeah. I want one that does all of them, but it's not really gonna happen. I think for the glass ones, this is like the problem with like the reference is like you don't do that with a glass door. The glass door is just like one panel. Like you wouldn't split it like this. I got to pick which one I'm making. I do this a lot where I'll like look at 4 different references. I'm like, how come they don't work together? Because they are just different. So it's really this. I like this one. I want to make it, but I'm really making this one. So I'm just gonna keep it simple. It's just gonna get a little handle. I'm not gonna do hinges, but I am gonna double door it with the. Does it have a mid divider when you do 2 glass doors? No, they just touch. So it's even easier. So we're gonna do like a really crappy mid push bar and the glass panel, and then like this little handle. So we'll go real simple on this one. Okay, so that's the start. So it's time to just start adding geometry and merging it all together. So this will be the push bar on the back. Let's template this. Look at this one. So what is its width? It's going to be some sort of inset from the... No, it's basically the full width. It's basically the full width little T-bar. Oh, we could do some extruding. Like actually polygon model this out. I'm not that comfortable with slicing though. What would be the way to do that? I guess we could make it a box. Start with a grid with an X amount of subdivisions, extrude up, and then just pull those 2 out. That would be enough. We just need its shape, and it's going to be silver in Unreal Engine. Like this extra detailing is not worth it for me yet. And I'll go overboard with the geometry. We could also just keep it a box by default to start. It's basically the full width. That's the important part. So the panel width is this thing's width. Maybe with like a tiny offset later. And its height will be parametric. So it's time to start getting into the folders here. Oh, that was not good. Where'd width go? There it is. Width, height. Can I just shift these? No, I can't shift select them. Panel. Next is going to be push bar, but it also might just be all of the handle controls. I don't know exactly how many there's going to be yet. So I'm going to have like push bar inset, bar inset. Like just in case I don't want it to be like the actually full width, I want to bring it in a tiny bit. So we'll just subtract this from that width we just put in. And then I need the height and depth. Yeah, just height, depth, just normal box stuff. Height. I kind of wish I knew the actual name of that type of mechanism now. Just calling it push bar, but depth. Okay, so that's its width, that's height, that's depth. Yeah. So inset, we'll say like 5 centimeters. Height is like 5 centimeters and depth is like 5 centimeters. Yeah, should be fine. To start, I kind of wish I did this from a grid, but because then grids aren't centered, but uncentering this is pretty easy, so it's not that big a deal. So we'll call this, take this one, this is height, this is depth, and then we take depth, and we're moving out on positive z. So times 0.5. So that takes it back to the. This makes it basically like an extruded grid. And then we're gonna transform it. And then we'll do some like quick modeling to it, but we're gonna transform it out half the door depth. Door depth, yeah, that one. 5 centimeters is like kind of too big, but video game door. So we're moving on. Pause x again here. Times 0.5. So now it's in the right place relative to that. Looking at this now, it's too deep and too not tall enough. So, oh, these are parameterized, arranged kind of crazy. So, yeah, so these would max out at like 0.1, something like that, I think, to make them usable. So height's a little bit more like this, and depth is a little bit more in. Okay, so the only finishing detail I really care about is like slicing this here and then having those come out. And so we're not like really procedural if we do it this way, but oh, can you not add subdivisions here? You can't add subdivisions in the. There we go. Okay, so if you make it a mesh, what's a polygon? I'm 2 weeks into Houdini. I don't know what a polygon is in this program. There's like primitives. What the hell is it? And what's a polygon mesh? I don't know what a polygon is. It's probably bad. So let's see. 2, 2. So what axis was it? Was it this one? So we're going to have too many on this one because I'm just going to take the last faces of it. So we'll have, this is going to be kind of like has too much geometry. Wow, we got to do a lot to get there, huh? 10, 12. I'm going to just I'm just going to select these faces for now. I try not to do too much of this, but I think in this case we kind of have to. And I'm also going to build in the inset because I don't like it going directly to the edge. So I'm going to take inset, and that's going to be subtracted from our width here. I need a fucking hotkey for this. There we go. So I can inset this a little bit. Now what I'm going to kind of need is I can probably ask for that. Let me look at the face numbers. Can I get that number parametrically? Is it always going to be 3 and 4? Or 2 and 3? Is that what that one is? Seeing that it's being built down here. How are those all 0? It treats this all as one face? I'm not going to select that. That's really weird. I'm just going to select them by hand. Whatever. I could probably spend like the whole day just trying to figure out how to like perfectly generate one of these that's like actually parametric, but that's not. Oh no, there's the face numbers. There's the real face numbers. 33 and 32. I can definitely select those parametrically with like 2 group ranges, but I'm just going to select them by hand. So we want the prims. This we're just going to grab U. Oh, what? How come? Oh, I need to view this one. Here we go. Okay. No, what the fuck is happening here? Wait, what? Can it's like we have the subdivisions here. Where's this actual? We have 12 subdivisions, but when I go to select them, it's like treating them all as like one face or something. Why not use normals to select those? To select this one? I just need the last one. Oh, there's lots of ways to do it. You just you select this as a row and grab the first one or something like that, but I'm kind of close to doing that, but I just want to like move on more than anything. So when I click connected, wait, oh no, that's why we want. I don't want this whole face though. I don't understand why it's taking the whole face. Like it doesn't treat individual elements, connected components. What the fuck? What? Poly extrude. That being, I don't do these selections like this way that often. I'm about to select it the way we're talking about. What the heck? I just want this one face, but it treats them all as one when you do it from a grid or something. I don't. That sucks. What's the default? I don't even know. I just want to select those two faces and extrude them. But I think there's something going on with mesh. I don't get it now. How come this doesn't like? How come they're all the same face though they have edges? How could that? What's an edge? So it makes me like rethink everything I know about 3D. Oh, so is it this? Is that what it's supposed to be? Polygon mesh, maybe. I don't know. I wish I did. Connected components. There we go. Okay, so it's again, it's a parameter like that. It's polygonal, yeah, polygonal mesh. Okay, yeah. See, I don't know what that means. Like, what's the other one? what's the other one then? Or polygon soup. Okay, so those are words I don't even really know. So I have some research to do. So still got lots of learning left. So we have deviated from the actual proceduralism by selecting it this way, but oh well. So it's a bit this really is a bad approach. This is pretty bad. It's not going to give me like that much ability to tweak the shape because I can't like change the size of that very easily. So this is a bad way. This is this is like doing traditional modeling and then trying to do it in Houdini, but it really should be done like way better than this. So what I should do is do it the right way. This is garbage. Okay, I don't want to do this. So we have X amount of subdivisions, and that's giving me this last face. I need this one. That's going to be fairly simple. We could also do it with symmetry. I don't have to work in a full 3D object. That also complicates things in Houdini. This should be like a 2D object, and I'm just like... I could also draw it in Vex completely. I think at this point, like you were saying, we could just basically like select all the up faces into a group and then select the first one or the last one. That would get this one. Same thing for the bottom. So that would be 4 group nodes. Or looking at how simple of a shape this is, I could just draw the whole thing in Vex. It's like dot, 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 dot. It's like 6 points, and then you extrude it. Would be the other way. And then parameterize it the way I want. Or use this box. I kind of want to... I think if I was going to make like a really good version, it would be Vex. Because then I have like... When you work with like primitives, you kind of have to like reverse engineer the options you have. Whereas Vex, you just draw it. I can make it the parameter, whatever I want, draw it however I want to. Because the way that this is going to work is I'm going to basically drive subdivisions, which kind of like changes this, but then it over. I mean, it's good geometry to have this many quads here, but like we're going to have like all this extra geometry to get this subdivision, asking for the last one, extrude up, ask for the face. I guess I'll just do it this way for now. I don't really want to bust into Vex for this piece. So we'll do a group and we'll ask for the normal of the up normal, but do it though primitives. Oh, it's the range. Yeah, this there. So we have our up faces. So that's a group. Call this thing bar up faces. And then from this group, we can ask for we can range it into getting just the first one. If you spell group right. So this is a nuance of this. You have to put, if you want to do subtract from existing, you have to put it in here. Seems straightforward, but there's a lot of other places you could put it, so it took me a while to figure that out. So if we're subtracting and we want this one, it's something like this and inverted. How come that didn't grab it? Let me look. No, it's this way. So we have all the faces selected, and these are their own group, and we want to just grab the first one, essentially. Or last one in this case, I don't know. So this group by range, we're in primitives, that's what we want, right? We're doing this one, we're subtracting from existing. Let's look at replace for a second, actually. I see, so that's the first face. That's what I would have expected, is that like you invert it. You take everything but the first one and you invert it, and that is the first one. So if I was to subtract that from... It doesn't work though, unless I've misselected something. Like I would expect that to be like just this one. So we're subtracting it from existing, which actually is this. All but the first one. But that's not quite it. This always takes me a little while to figure out. Is this right? What is this group made up of? Primitives. We're selecting faces. I should be working at points and then extruding at the end. It's always easier. Replace existing. That one. Oh, it's killed the base group. Doesn't matter in this case. That's a perfect selection. Here. And then this group by range. We're trying to subtract from this group. We're subtracting primitives. Subtract from existing. Relative to start end. Technically, this should get rid of all of them. When I invert, we're doing none. See, this is what I don't understand. We need to blast. I always screw this up. Okay, so you have to... It's still acting on the entire geometry. I always think that like this is the... We have to blast that away. I should just do this in Vex. This is stupid this way. But anyway, I'll finish this just for... Okay, so we have a group, but this group doesn't like actually separate anything. It's just a selection group, so I actually have to blast it out. The range uses all the... Yeah, you have to blast this piece out. I always forget this. This gets me every time. I'm just like... So I should try split. I haven't used split, so at least I can maybe try to learn something. I don't know how split works. You probably get a group, right? You give it a group of like bar up faces. And this is the two parts. Okay, yeah, I've been using blast. Split is definitely like the way. So I lost my... I don't need... Oh no, I am going to take this one now. So what's this? And the other one is like the other pieces. I was doing this with two blast nodes. This is nicer. So there we go. Okay, so now if I do this and invert, I have the wrong side. So I'll go this way and invert. No, that's it right there. That's the last face. Cool. And then, so we'd have to merge this back. This is a laborious way of going about this, but I'm using the split node, so that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. This is like a wonky setup, but still learning how to and how not to do this. I would rather draw this in Vex next time. Let's give this a name of bar down faces. Now we got to merge all these back together, but that's really easy because merge, you can do like multiple merges at once. We will do prims, bar down faces, and then we just group range that one here. So same select, just here, inverted. Nope, not inverted. Oh, it's the first one in this case. It's over here. There we go. So those are the faces to... So I got to name these when I merge them back. Oh, it's two different extrudes. I should merge these groups together. Is that going to work? So I could merge these together and then merge those together. This is a terrible way of doing this. Really bad. So those are like, oh, so even those aren't blasted out yet. This is this is such a stupid way to do it. The range, okay, yeah, we talked about this is bad, but anyway, it's like it's a exercise in just like selecting and blowing things up out here. So now if I do parameterize like how many subdivisions there are, this should always grab the last two faces, and that's what we want to extrude. So if I was to merge these back together, I need these as a group. I could also just join these groups together. Now, this group range doesn't have a name. Or how did this work? We're subtracting from existing. That is not what we're doing. And so that's why this is off. Okay, so we do want that one. We don't want to subtract. These are brand new groups. So this is extrude group 1, extrude group, how am I spelling these? I just read it out, group 2. These need to be the same group when they merge back together, because then we extrude that group. And this has been probably the wonkiest way possible to do this. So these splits, this is fucking garbage the way I did this. Like, are these groups going to persist through these merges? This is so bad. That being said, I've never done this before, so there's some value in just that this is like kind of new. So does this make the full mesh again? What is that? Oh, it's the jump. It's the number, the grid number. So that merges it all back together, and now we have this like procedural selection. I can middle click this, and I have the bar down. We have extrude group 1 and extrude group 2, so they still exist. So now we can do like a, I don't have to combine them. I think poly extrude, you can just feed it 2 groups at once, hopefully. And we'll do extrude group 1, extrude group 2. All that to extrude that little piece at the end. But it's procedural, so I can change what I'm going to change here, which is this, which is going to be push bar divisions. I don't have to preface the label because it's in a folder called push bar, but oh well. So what is this object? This is a polygon mesh. I've never used that before, so this is interesting as well. But this can go in here and then just jam this up to like whatever I want to essentially dictate the width of this, which is kind of weird. And then I inset it to kind of go like this, and I would put extrude on its own thing as well. Then we have this it's like handlebar height, whatever this, right? Now, can I ask for what has to happen next? I need these two. I need this face and this face need to get scaled. It's a lot of just group ranging. I'm not that mad at this split because Vex takes you into a different world of thinking. So if you can get it done with like just connecting nodes cleverly, I think you go faster. It's the same reason I use blueprints over C in Unreal. It's like I just want to keep moving. I'm gonna call it push bar T height. I'm gonna call it T height. And what's a reasonable value for this one? 0.01. Positive values are working out. Don't have to flip any normals. Oh, completely wrong about that. So that's kind of like, that would be like the base of it. Then there's like the actual bar itself. And then this has a bit of like 122 and 123 gets scaled in from their like local, like their face median, which I don't know how to do that in here yet. And there's a lot more detailing too, but like that's the main detail. And again, the point of like going over, like doing all this procedural stuff is so that you can like kind of back up, and I could do this in engine if I was using the Houdini engine, is to art direct it and not commit to like any of these decisions yet. Like this T handle height, it's like, okay, how tall should this really be? I'm gonna reparameterize that to be, oh, it's 10. Jesus, yeah, I'll do like 0.5. Alright, so just like this. And I feel like the height could be a little bit taller. Like that. And let's look at this inset here. Something like that works for right, so it's like absurdly low poly, but when you see it like in the entire environment, it's like doesn't really, you don't even see it at all. I'm gonna give it just a little bit more depth to like that. Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of detailing that could go into it to make like a beautiful like Substance Painter version of this and actually model the whole thing, but getting the blocking is a big piece. So next we're gonna do the little handle, and there's like a little plate, and then I also want to put I guess you don't put the plate here because it's made out of steel. So then I'm pretty much wrap it up. There's like a little plate here with a handlebar, and then this door panel is ready to go into like the bigger door frame trim situation wall, and I can push it to Unreal. So I'm gonna make the handle next. So we'll merge this all together. So controls I usually put here at the top. This is one piece. This is the panel itself. This is the, I guess I'll stick it here. What is this one? This is the T-bar, and I just build them to the right and merge them in the center. And I merge them all so I can keep reference of them as I build each new piece. Like that. So that's it's all together in kind of crazy ass topology, but it'll be okay. There's not like thousands of these in the level or something like that. And even if there was, I mean, whatever. Like the humans I bring in, I think are like 200k polys each. So it's like we have bigger issues than door polygon count. So next is to make a little handle. Let me look at the quick reference of what these things look like. I do want to put like this like extra piece there, but I'll come back. I should be looking at a door, like a steel door. That's a bad reference. I could make this little scissor mechanism. I don't think it's worth it right now. Making those two separate pieces would have also been really simple. Just make this a cube and a cube. That's definitely the way I should have done it. So this is like an interior door. We're doing exterior ones. So it's kind of like a rectangle with like a cylinder with like a little, I don't know what the top part is. Like probably just a rectangle would cover it. So we'll make and I need to be able to tell it what side to be on. So we'll model it in the center and give it an offset enumerator thing. I like to see the other side of this, but I'm gonna oh, there's that one too. So there's like a latchy one, and there's like a pull one. So if the handle's like this, it's because it's actually pulling the deadbolt in and like unlocking it. The other one's like a floor lock, and it's like a push door. I'm gonna do that one, this handling one like that. I think that looks pretty cool. So it's gonna be just like I tend to do those in Vex, these shapes. I don't really know how to do it not in Vex. So I'm gonna draw a Vex spline and then just loft a circle along it. So it's gonna come out, down, comes out, over, down, back in, and then back. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, or symmetry. But if you do mirroring, it screws up the point numbers and then the whole thing goes to shit. So I'm going to draw all of them, loft it, and yeah, that seems pretty common between them. It's this kind of like out handle that's like offset a little bit. And then actually it doesn't even have like a metal plate on it. So it's just going to be one more shape, and then I'll wrap this. I should have just drawn these as two boxes. That would definitely have been better. Why did I make this all one mesh? I don't know. So I'll draw it here. So I need the parameters first before I can program any of it. So we're going to make it its own folder. Then we have infinite art direction on this handlebar. This is like the pull bar. And we're going to have pull bar height, pull bar depth, call it depth, and then offset and radius. I think that's all of them. So pull bar height, pull bar depth, pull bar offset. Oh, and we need if it's on the, oh no, yeah, we need if it's on the left or the right side. Pull bar. Oh, this is that one actually. This is the right in the label. And then we do the pull bar radius. and bar radius. And then I need like an enumerator, a toggle, that's a string. If it's on the left or right side. So I'm gonna say pull bar side bool handle on left, something like that. We'll figure it out which one it actually has to be. So we'll be able to change like what side it's on this way. You can merge multiple nodes together by selecting them and dragging and dropping while clicking Alt left. Huh, I'll have to try that. Non-vex version would probably be with an add node. Oh, I've never done that. Where you just, I always start with an add node that just doesn't do anything. That's interesting. Oh, and you just type them in right here. Oh, that is great. That's definitely good. Oh, yeah, I always write them in vex for some reason. Thanks for that. So I'll try it that way. That is like a chiller way. Now, what's the downside? The downside is like you don't have like persistent variables. Like everything needs to get accomplished and you can't store anything, right? It's like it all has to happen in these channels. So I can't pre-cache any calculations, and I can't like pull this channel into this one. Oh, I guess I could. I don't know. Let me look. How hard is this going to be to do it? I guess I'll try it. It's probably okay. Let's look at this. So there's the dot. So let's look into, we're going to draw this into, again, positive XY. We'll draw it from this axis towards us, which is positive Z. Yeah, I like positive numbers. So we need, I guess we could just start at 0 and go up. That's probably the move. We'll go 0 and go up. So it comes out, it comes out and then over and then up, I believe. It's the kind of thing where like looking at it in reality would be super helpful. I'm pretty sure that handle comes out at us and then takes a side, then goes up. Oh, this is a good picture of it. Yeah. Okay, so it's out this way, this way, this way. I should probably draw it centered because it's definitely a centered object. Okay, so we'll center it. So, given that, we're going to then take our, let's give these numbers. Ooh, this is always do 0.1, 0.1, 0.05, 0.02, 2 centimeters, and we'll make this positive for now. So we'll take our height, and that's going to be our Y. In this case, we'll go, I guess, up. So times 0.5 goes up. And it's still on the 0 on every other axis, I think. Okay, then we'll add another point. It's interesting you could like enable them. And this is the same thing here. Oh yeah, this is pretty easy. But it's gonna come towards us, our depth, in positive. This one. I mean, if you have too many of these, it gets kind of probably large, but okay, so that's coming towards us. I need to keep looking at it. It comes towards us, and then it banks to the right, our offset, which is 5 centimeters is a lot probably, but so then the next point here is these same, it's the same height and depth, but a different X. Right, so we're just like continuing to vary this. And this one is, we could just full put it there that way. So it makes an L at the top. I need to check. It's an L and then down and then the reverse L. Okay, so the next point is, oh yeah, this is like kind of gonna work for this shape, I think. It's going to be the same X, different Y, but the same, probably this. I don't know what that variable is. That's the offset. Yeah, that's fine. So it's going to be the negative of this one. Yeah, this isn't so bad. you don't get to see them all at once. You look at these like kind of like crazy channels, but you know, as long as you're keeping it straight in your head, it's pretty okay. I've definitely never done it this way before. So we have 0.4. It's currently at 0, so it's actually the mirror of 0.1. So 0, the negative of this. That doesn't look right. Okay, because the depth is off, but it's again the mirror of 0.1. It's a little confusing looking at these channels, but we're gonna definitely get it. So it's L and then the reverse L. Is it just straight back from here? Doesn't seem right. Let me look at this. I mean, we're gonna bevel it too, but it's an L straight down and then an L. Oh, okay, it is right. Yeah, fair enough. And then 0.5 is just a mirror of 0 on Y. It wasn't so bad. So 0. Oh, it's hard to look at. Where are we? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did I do here? What is this? What is this? What is 5 to 0? Oh, because it's drawing 5. I was like, what the hell? So it's just the reverse of this. Is that it? Right? That's it, right? That comes out and then down. I think that's it. Yeah, and then you gotta draw the... That is pretty tight. I usually do like an add and I did that in Vex, but that for this case that's completely fine. That's cool, thanks. And so then we have to, I mean, I could select this in like a fancy way, but I don't think I need to. Because this is unchanging, the number of points is not parameterized. So we're gonna take points, yoinks. I'm gonna take, now I should probably do these separately. Like that's a separate bevel than the other one. Or is the shape the same? They look real similar. Let's see if we can pull it off with just doing this bevel all at once. Gotta be careful with this one. I should probably start pushing the parameters at this point. So what is this? This is going to be our bevel and divisions for pull bar. We'll just do bevel. I don't feel like changing the divisions. Pull bar bevel. It's like a handle. It's like a handle too. Call it a handle. And a number that we're using is currently 0.01. So that's got to get ranged completely differently. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to go range it now. Max is 1, but we're not going anywhere near 1. Like, we'd probably never even go anywhere near 0.05 for this sort of thing. But, yeah, even 0.05 I'll start to destroy it. Okay, so that's the shape. Oh, these need to all be rearranged to make them like actually usable for choosing dimensions. And then we just sweep this thing. I think this is new that you can change it to just like straight up right here. You just change it. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I don't even need to give it like a circle sweep. It just has it like built into it. Maybe that was always there. I don't know. 8 is it doesn't even need 6. I mean 6 is pretty good if we smooth that perfectly. Use the lab smooth. I guess I'll give it 8 just to I don't have to go as deep with the, I don't have to make the bevel angle as intense. So yeah, that's basically it. And I need to rearrange this stuff to make it usable. Okay, so let's rearrange these ones here. I think you can even copy the points. For what? So these are never going to be like anywhere near this amount. So I'm going to make them 20 centimeters for all of them. And the radius of this is not going to be one, you know, it's like like 0.05 is like the max or something, like 5 centimeters, maybe like 0.1, 10 centimeters. I mean, there's no fucking way. It's like 0.01. No, that's 1 centimeter. 0.05. Hey, what's up? You're back.
Did you miss us today, Dad?
I did. You were only gone for a little bit, but truly did. Okay, so I'm gonna just get this into like kind of more reasonable place, and then we'll do the position logic. So the height, it could be a little taller than 0.2. Depth, I can't tell yet until I see it better in context.
Dad, it's a yucky day today.
It is pretty yucky out. Offset is how far the handle goes out this way. I was wrong about height. Height could definitely go bigger. And then the radius is not hooked up to anything. So let's do that. Right here. Oh, 0.0038. Just chill that out for a second. Oh, those are even smaller than I was thinking. But yeah, so there's a parametric door handle. I could even give like those 2 points like a little like bring them in a little bit, but it's probably carrying up a little bit too much. Yeah, okay, so let's do the position logic. So I'm gonna flip it over there. We'll flip it over, and so this thing has a mirror situation. It can't just be moved back and forth. So there's a couple different ways of doing that. Let me just start by doing the first part. So we have this transform. I could spin it 180 too. That, I forget if that how. I suppose that's kind of what I have to do. I have to make it 180. So now it's on this side of the door. And so if it is handle on left side, which I would call that based on looking at it from the front, not from what its front is looking from behind it. That being said, I was drawing an XY. But I like to do, most of my stuff is based on like you look at it, you're looking at it, and what side is it relative to your view. Unlike how you would like do like a car door, like the car has a forward and you're gonna want to put its left door on its, you know, the driver's side in America. For this type of logic, I'll be looking at this asset like in a level and I'm like, I want it on the left side. It's always like relative to like my view of it. I find that's more intuitive long term. So I'm guessing this is like dead center in this part here, and we have those numbers. So we did the transform. I'm gonna make another transform. I don't know if like ultimately that's like much slower to have more nodes in the network like this, but it's just mentally gonna be a little easier for me. If I need to like find the transform node that's doing the certain action, I like them one at a time for now. So this thing is going that way. X on panel width divided by, well, actually, was it not? It's panel width divided by 2 plus the border width divided by 2, something like that. So panel width here times 0.5 gets it there, and then we're going to add back half of the panel width, which is cool that we did it. I'm glad I have this as a separate parameter now. I did one of these yesterday where this expression was like, it's like a paragraph, which is probably should have just been broken up into different nodes, but I didn't. Negative. Oh, or you subtract it. That would work too. Let's add negative numbers. I like that one better. We're adding an offset. Oh, what? What? Wait a minute, what? The border width, it goes to 0 there, and then the border width is definitely half of the border width. What the heck? Is this the wrong number? Oh no, it's stuck to it. Why is it not half? Is it what? Negative 0.5. What is the full one gonna do? It's a quarter of it? I don't understand that. It's 0.25. Yeah, fuck it, whatever, that's what it is. Is it centered? It's probably not centered either. It's probably some sort of offset. Like it's... maybe it is. I don't know. No, it can't be centered because if the door's really tall. So we need like a handle offset as well. In the add node? Oh, you can copy the points in the add node. Okay, so we did an offset for this thing. For its height. And currently this would be the true one. And we'll have a different transform for the... oh, so that's what this is. This is the bool. Right here we do a switch on what transform happens. And we'll combine this transform, however, with our height offset, because those are fine. That's like, it's the common transform between the two states. So pull bar, height offset, height offset. This needs to be negative and positive parameter wise. So we're just gonna throw that right into the translate right there. Y is unaffected by this. This 180 rotation can throw off other math if you're thinking it's actually, if you're trying to like pull from vectors from it. So, but this is fine. It's spinning on Y and translating on Y is, they're like independent of each other. No, don't get block issues or anything. So is that hooked up now? So I should be able to like, yeah. So but this got to be negative as well. So we'll say like negative. I mean a full meter. I mean that's probably enough. A meter in both directions. Yeah, that should be okay. Because if the door gets real tall, you're going to have to start offsetting down. But it defaults to center of door. Oh, so does the push bar. Does the push bar not have a height offset? It needs a height offset too. We'll do that. They probably share height offsets because they're both handles. They'll share the same height offset, which maybe I'll put that as a main variable. And we should make them generatable. I should be able to like turn them off and on if I want to. Okay, so we're almost done with this thing. Height offset. We need to do the switch. So we're just switching between two transforms. This is just like blueprints. You don't do it like it's this way up here. So this is one transform. That's the left one. So that would be positive. So that's when it's one, it's this one because that's left, and then we have to make the right one. And that's going to be some funny scaling. So in this case, it's the negative of this entire thing. I'm sure there's a way to do it without that, but whatever. And then we flip it 180 on Z. So yeah, put that here. I'm going to call this one transform right, transform left. Okay, flip the order on me. So this is the handle on left switch right there, and we're gonna drive that from our UI here. So handles, okay, this is not working. It's interesting. Oh, I'm not looking at it. That'll do it too. There we go. So handles on left, right, left, right, left, right. That's pretty easy. And we're going to have this height offset. It's going to be global in panel because it's for two. It'll drive two of these ones, which that's a little unintuitive. Well, I'll just put it in this one and it drives both. I think that's fine too. So where's our push bar? We extrude. It's got to be this thing. Bunch of grouping and merging and extruding. We'll just do it at the end here. You also have this global offset here. Like that. So now both, this will drive both. We're not viewing it. Let's just start the merge here. So now this height offset drives both, which I think that makes sense. Like I think that's what you would do. So, throwing me off a little bit. This is, I think this has to be like fairly big, like that. It's subtle. It's like, now it looks kind of ridiculous, but before it was like too skinny. I think seeing the line display actually throws it off a little bit, but something like this. And then we can always like put this door next to like something that has like on the grid and just kind of like figure out, because there's like a minimum, there's like a recommended door height for handles or handle height, and we can just kind of like tweak this offset until it hits that. But something like that, like here, a little bit on the lower end. I would even go a little bit lower. Oh, we should put it next to our dude. That would be smart too. So yeah, so there's our door. So a couple things got to go down to make this a usable HDA in the next thing we're going to build. And UVing this thing is going to be one of them. Could we UV this all at once? Probably. I'm going to do the normals. I think I could do it all at the end, actually. I think this object's so basic, it'll be okay. More complicated ones, you got to UV them all separately, but this one's pretty straightforward. So this is going to get... We're going to do the smooth... I think just like a regular normal is going to be okay. Things go super sideways if you don't normal them in Unreal Engine. And we have to switch to smooth shade to even see it. Now, that still has the wireframe. Something's templated. There we go. Turn that off. It looks fine. Default 60 is pretty good. But at a certain point, it snaps over at over 100, right? Over 90 degrees, it would break, right? That's kind of like the threshold. So, what do they have it at 60? Yeah, so it's like we have 8 faces. So is that what that is? Like 360 divided by 8. So it's anywhere in here we're pretty safe. But I'll keep it at 60. That's gonna work out. So the normals are all gonna be clean. This is like comically low poly here. I could definitely do a little bit on that. But it won't matter. The handle. Oh, we need the glass panel in it too. I need the piece of glass that goes in there. But we'll do that next. And then I'm just going to do a labs UV like this. And this node saves me hours every day. Oh, I need a quick shade. I'm going to put this over here. And let's see what it's given us. It's pretty good. We don't need any, like, I don't really need the unwrap part of this. Like, it pelts it to some degree. I don't really need that. And I like to do axis aligned because of the way that my materials are set up. It's not doing it anyway. UV unwrap's a little bit more expensive. It takes longer to do for some reason for certain meshes, and that's what I want. It doesn't do as good a job on the handle, but the door is like that. So this is a case where like I would probably UV the UV by groups. Like this merges and does like a UV unwrap, and then this one is a pelted unwrap. What do they call it here? An auto seam. So I am gonna do that. So I'm gonna merge this here, UV it. So it's not so much like you have to UV each piece individually. You just kind of have to like group them by how, and then tell it like what type of UVing you want on it, which is pretty nice compared to having to actually UV this by hand. So how to do this? We're going to drop this one. We'll be viewing the quick shade, but we'll be doing it here. Now that's interesting. That's really weird. What am I looking at? Oh, I never UV'd this one. That's why I see. Okay, that's why. It doesn't, it sees the mismatch there. We'll cut this. Okay. So we're viewing the final. So they're going to go on top of each other, which is fine. I'm going to unwrap the door at axis aligned. And then I'm going to unwrap the, and then we'll do like a layout at the end or something like that. I don't know if that's a good idea. Oh yeah, let's actually look at this one. So this one does want to be more like, I'm going to go to axis aligned, and this one has more of like a, like try to keep it as one pelt kind of thing. That technically works. Oh, I liked that one. That's pretty good. If you just split it right down the seam, they're not the same size, which is kind of odd. Given how small this object is, and like, don't really care. But that's more like how I would have done it manually. It's just you just grab a seam down the middle and unwrap it.
Both of the kids are so small.
Yeah, both kids are small for sure, for sure.
You're the biggest, Dad.
The auto UV node is a
Daddy,
plugin.
you're the biggest, Daddy, you're the biggest one and the biggest belly.
Thank you. My daughter says I have the biggest belly. It's true. Of the family, I would have to say that's true. It's the labs thing. It's like it used to be called game dev tools, and now it's labs tools. But they're like, I mean, like the best tools are in the lab stuff. They're like incredible. It's like it's probably half the reason I switched into Houdini is because I saw some of the stuff that you could do with it, and I was like, that looks good. Like that would save a lot of time. And this UVing thing is like basically that. And like the whole shit's UV. Now I gotta like lay it out now a little bit better. Though that being said, it really doesn't matter because I haven't like we're not taking this to oh shit. I'm not taking this to Painter or anything just yet. So try this layout.
If you were all black,
I need to normalize.
Daddy, if you were all black, it would be so cool.
There we go. Yeah, that is cool.
Can I tell you something?
So now they're normalized by area, except for the what happened to this guy? Where's this T-bar?
Can I tell you something, Dad?
Yeah, what do you want to tell me? Oh, here we go.
If you were all black, it would be so cool.
Yeah, black is cool. Okay, so that's a reasonable little layout. If we're going seamless textures and not to Painter, this is fine. Otherwise, you'd have to add some padding, which this one doesn't give you the padding based on. These labs ones are so good. See, like this one does it based on resolution and padding, whereas this one's more like a computer science UV thing where it's like it does like what does this number even mean, right? It's not even it's you just have like more control in like a UV sense, like 0 to 1, but it doesn't put it in context of like that it's a it's a texture sheet for a game that has this resolution. You want this much buffer for the light maps and stuff like that. You have to kind of like program that into this one, whereas this one just does it for you. Less options, but it's just done. Point being, I don't know how to give this the proper island scale because I use the other one so much. I'm just gonna leave it because I'm not gonna take this to Substance Painter, but you got to give it obviously some more borders. But anyway, this door's done. So I am going to just make this thing an HDA, and then I'm going to use it in the next one. You are upside down.
Daddy, does no one used to do this on this?
I guess so.
Because I totally can't do.
So I have normals. I'm going to bypass this one on the way out so it's not on. And this UV layout's a little sketchy, but whatever. I could always come clean this up and then it'll update. I can update it on the mesh. On whatever I use it next. So I'm going to call this outdoor. That's fine. This doesn't have to be unique. It's going to be inside of this subnetwork. So there it is. There's this door. And then I'm going to make the actual asset that I'll send to Unreal Engine next. But I'll have this door forever now in my heart in Houdini HDA library. And to be continued on this. I could come back and make that better, but it don't matter. Oh no, I didn't make the glass. Never mind. I gotta make the glass. Hold on. It's really easy. I don't have the. Oh, and that needs to be. Yeah, I got a tiny bit more work to do. UVs are fine. I gotta make the glass panel, and then I have to make it a Boolean if I want it or not. Yes, you remembered. You remembered. Okay, so I'm gonna call this grid glass, and I'm just gonna go with the Z fight because it's a plane. Doesn't matter. Okay, so the way it faces does matter though. Yeah, so it's like I've been doing this like I think it's gonna work. Well, I haven't talked to enough users yet to know if they like the new way I'm doing glass, but I make it fully reflective here and then invisible on the back, right? So you can just see right through it because transparency is really expensive, and like me and like maybe like 100 or 200 users have like 2080 Ti's to even like ray trace reflections in Unreal Engine. So it's just not worth it. Whereas like the majority of people can't even like, if there's any transparency, like multiple stack transparencies in the game, it's like, you know, your frame rate's gonna drop to like 30 or 20 or something. So I've just been killing glass in the game. Sad for me because I like doing it, but it overall is a better look for like 99% of the users. Okay, so we're gonna go on this plane to, and it's just literally this. Oh, and we haven't propped the door up. I got to do one more transform. Almost done. It's real anxious to make this an HDA, but almost done. You should never see this plane in here, but there's a chance that there's like this one tiny little like overdraw pixel, like if I left it like that, especially if I gave it like a fully reflective material. Obviously this way you would never see it, but like there's a chance there's a line there. It's a little annoying. So we could technically, with this offset, it gets to be a little bit, oh, I could throw it the same offset math actually. Where is that? Wherever this cutout is, this cutout gets the same, it's the same idea. I could just merge it into that piece. Oh, I have to do materials. I'm not done at all. I got a lot left on this thing. Never mind. I got a lot left. This cutout is this glass panel. They're the same thing. So I could throw this now. Is this centered? I could throw this into here. I mean, that would take it over. But I could like merge these together. I need groups then. Or I could just write this transform again. Oh, it's just offset the height. Oh, that's like really easy. Okay, I thought it was going to be trickier than that. I'm just going to take this transform with me. I'll just do two of them. Thanks. That's super not right though. What? Oh, wait, what? Oh, because the dimensions are wrong too. Wait a minute. Oh, because, okay, so wait, this is, it's just these two. So if I just copy these, we'll ensure no Z fighting. It's so annoying to have. Oh, what? Okay, I see. Yeah, so we're literally just making like a flat version of this door cutout. So all that thinking, it's got to go right here. Done. No Z fights. So that'll be perfect. Keep it centered for now. If we're doing like V-Ray or something like that, you'd have to give it thickness and have like two of them and like, you know, deal with like all of the, you know, like real world PBR kind of rendering stuff. But in a video game, it's like, it's a plane. And I'm going to make that a Boolean if we do it or not on the, so what kind of UV are you going to get? Technically, it doesn't even need to be like UV'd with this same sheet because I'm not going to painter. It's just like glass. So if I merge it into this UV, we're going to lose all this like resolution from it because it's going to take up space but do nothing. It'll probably fit in between the current UV sheets though. But of the UVing, it would be one of these. If we did do it, it would be like this. And again, it is a bool if we're going to even use it or not. So hold on. I'll put it in panel. So we have a Boolean of door panel glass. Generate glass. That. So copy into a switch glass it's the other way and we drive this with that parameter. So 1 is glass, 0 is no glass into this merge. So it'll cost it'll be a re-UV bake at that point. So let's go to the final, untemplate it. So if we want the glass door, is it facing the right way? It is, yeah, because this is the exterior door. That's the exterior part, see-through. Assuming it's UV'd, I'll look at it. My OCD is a little off because it's all facing the wrong way, but I don't really know, like, in the end what material it's going to be yet, so whatever. I can fix that later. Okay, so we have this, and then there's materials. Okay, materials is the last part. And which I was testing this the other day. I mean, it makes perfect sense. All the material groups come through. It's amazing how the HDAs work. Like all the groups that you want propagate into the next network you put it into. It's crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and say we have 3 materials. We have door. We have the door panel itself. We have the hardware, which is like kind of like another metal, and then we have glass. So we have 3. So we got to apply those on the way out of here because I don't want to have to like do that again. Or we could just push the groups through knowing that we're going to probably do material assignment on like the parent HDA, but actually I forget how I did it with the windows. At the minimum, we need to group it. We need material. I think I'm just going to do material groups actually. I'll just do that. I'll just group them so that we can apply the material from the parent. Because this door, actually, these doors are their own assets because they have to move in Unreal Engine. So in this case, we really need the material network because this one will actually get exported. Okay, so we're going to do material net, door, panel, mat net. We need 3 of these. Door panel, mat net. 1, 2, 3. You can't call it mat 0, 0. It won't work. Door. Mat 0, 2. Even this order gets messed up. I still don't know how to control this. I don't understand how the materials come in order-wise. I'll call it hardware. Really, it's metal, but what else? It's still fine. You can change these names in Unreal later. Glass. Like that. So we'll do red, green, blue. Red. Green. And blue. So that's our materials. We'll apply them here. We don't have groups yet for this, so we're not ready. Okay, so this is the door, this is the glass, and both of these are hardware. So that's kind of annoying because they're separate. They're being UV'd separately. So how do I group these two together dynamically? I guess I can. I don't know. I'll figure that out in a second. I'll do this one first. I kind of want to like start blasting all the unused groups that I shouldn't be doing, but I haven't done that yet. Oops. So switch this here. There we go. So this one is, I call it a mat group. Mat group for door. It's kind of weird because this switch, we like lose a mat group if this happens, which could probably break some things down the road. Like if you're looking for this group, but then you switch it off, it doesn't exist, but it still has to be done this way. So this is mat group for glass. So we can use these to select our materials. Oh, which we're going to actually, I forgot. Yeah, this is a final mesh. I'll still use it in the other HDAs, but we put it out separately. So we have door, glass, and these are the same. I could probably just make 2 different groups and just assign them the same material. That's what it is. That's fine. That'll be fine. So group here, cut this one. So I'm going to call this mat group hardware 1. And we'll just, I'll do it as the last thing. Mat group hardware 2. So we have our groups now. And we got to material them. Say material for door panel. And I might make this like a master door panel that like I can make like all the different door variations just happen like right here, versus making like door panel 2, door panel 3. Just make like one like gigantic uber one, so I can make it like a panel door or all the different doorknobs are all instanced in here, that sort of stuff. Probably be useful. Then I just have one. I just click tab HDA door panel and I can make it whatever I want. Don't have to think about it, like which one it is later on. So we're gonna take our matte group door and give it the door material. Matte group hardware 1 and hardware 2, get the hardware material. Good. And matte group glass gets the glass one. Did I make it gray or did I do something wrong? Or sometimes you have to like refresh this viewport and that really starts to F with you when this isn't updating correctly. Start to really question like what's going on. But that's definitely blue. So it just needs time to it just needs to update. You need to like trigger it to actually update. There it is. Now, am I actually stripping that out somehow? Or is it blue? What's happening? Are we not viewing textures? We are. Why would the out node take the color off of it? That's when I start being like, time to start breaking things. Oh, it's UVing. It's UVing, so it's all slow. We have 3 UVs actually happening, or 2 UVs in a layout. They're expensive. I'm going to go ahead and say that this probably is blue, and it's just not showing me, because there's no way that I would understand that we would lose our material assignments from an output node. That wouldn't make any sense. But whatever. Okay, so this is now HDA time. So I'm going to put all the kind of like floaty nodes together. These aren't in the actual network. So the material's in the null. And the out. So we have normals, UVs, no collision. I'm going to auto collision it for now. I mean, I could just, this is the collision. This box is the collision before the Boolean. I'll just do that. Fuck it. Okay, so this is the collision. Not an output. That'll break it. A null. So this is collision door. Yeah, couldn't be any easier. That's it. So we'll call that from another geo node. Okay. But if I HDA this, you do lose the but I'm still gonna HDA this part, but you still have to set up the collision separately on export, which is kind of I haven't had to deal with that yet. Like, can you HDA 2 networks like that? Like, make 2 geos and put them into one? I don't know how that works, but I'll do it at this SOP level here, like that. Do you know if I can sell some HDAs on the marketplace? The marketplace? I don't know if you can. You could definitely. I imagine you can sell the HDAs. Someone needs the plugin, but on the marketplace, I'm not sure. You just email them and ask. Yeah. So we'll subnet this thing. I think we're ready, right? We've done all the things. Subnet. There. Now it's blue. What the hell? Okay. So this is a CT door panel 1, and then I turn you into an HDA CT door panel 1, except no external references. That's good. That's what happens. It breaks if you try to have external references in it, which I've done many times. Okay, yeah, here it is. Oh, there's so many. This part's manual still. So 1, 2, 3. That's so small. I usually work with 3 monitors when I'm not streaming, so it's looks a little crazy right now. And so panel, push bar. This is pull handle actually. Pull handle. So this one. I don't think it'll let you pull them in twice, which is nice because I can definitely like get lost and start making a mess in here. Inset, height. Yeah, like right now I'm lost. Okay, yeah, divisions. Got lost for a second. Height.
Dad,
Depth.
do you know Happy Meal?
I do know Happy Meals. They're from McDonald's.
McDonald's is like Happy Meal.
Okay, we have HDA'd. Accept. So now I can just hit tab and I can get this thing whenever I need it. I'm gonna close this. To technically, now how do I ask for this one? So technically, if I'm gonna output this geometry, I need to make a collision geo and UCX name it blah 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 and pull that output out. But I'll do that when I actually output it. So this is the video game door, like a proper ArcViz door. You need to go like another hour or two of adding bevels and details and double pane glass with thickness, and depends on the renderer how you do glass, I guess. Oh, I never offset it. Fuck. Okay, I gotta go back. I never offset the thing off the ground. So that happens before any like, I do all the geometry stuff before the normals and the materials. So this needs to go up. Luckily the control is right there. Oh no, is this gonna work? I like to get this right the first time, but sometimes I forget. So can I still copy this? Can I still do this stuff here? Yeah, it looks like we're okay. Okay, because I like the doors to come in off the ground like that. And it's centered, which is also, well, you don't want to center your door for Unreal Engine because it would pivot from here, but I'll probably give it like a rotating scene component or something, so I'll offset it there. Now for Houdini, what you could do is like, because I'm thinking about the placement math for the next object that owns this HDA, that like globally there's like a left door or a right door, and it would actually move it, it would move its pivot too. I don't know if that's gonna be worth it. I'll try it centered for now, but probably it makes more sense to have a left door, right door handle as like one of the main, like a main Boolean. Like if another HDA is placed in like 20 of these doors, it's like it doesn't want to have to know about how much to move it back and forth. It just tells it, is it a right or left door? I should probably do that. We'll see though. I haven't done the placing one yet, so I gotta save this thing. So I made a change. Save it. I think that saved it. Not sure. So I'm gonna keep working out here. Turn off the actual subnet. Now what is this? It's a nothing. So now I'm gonna make an opening that has two doors that goes like that. So what is this piece gonna be? This is like a door frame. It's like a, and then that door frame goes in the wall HDA. So starting with the smallest part, then the next part. Oh, and then the trim is like its own HDA as well. I already wrote that though. Okay, next submit. So this is gonna be door frame. Yeah, and they really are separate in this case because Unreal Engine, you have to bring them as separate meshes. Okay. So, little geo container. I meant to call this actually. Now, is this going to be a subnet? How is this going to be put out? This will be a subnet, so I'll just call this one door frame CT. But actually, this is geo. Door frame, and then the subnet gets created in here is what's going to happen. I did not understand that in the beginning. So this is going to be door frame controls. So this will eventually be controlled by another HDA as well, so I have to kind of like expose in a straightforward way how that's going to happen. So this will be owned by a wall object that just tells it how big is the door, how big is the rough opening. So we need to expose the rough opening dimensions kind of globally. So we're going to call this one, ooh, this is going to be door width Like this is what the parent HDA wants to put into it. Door height. Yeah, we're gonna need depth. So we have door depth. So that defines the opening that this goes into. Then we're gonna have, am I doing trim on this object? I think trim is separate. I mean, this could be the frame and trim. What did I call this thing? Door frame. What is this thing? This is like I barely even need this because the door is separate. Like with the windows, you have a frame that has a window generator, and you can, I have that all set up with like, you can put like 50 windows by 50 windows if you want in it. But it has the frame and it drops the dividers in it. This doesn't really have that. This is like, because the doors aren't even, this doesn't export with doors in it. So this is like very different. And so it's almost like the wall design itself would have the trim. Who gets the trim in the frame? And then are they separate objects? I guess I didn't think about this. Let me look at the reference for a second. So we have the door part. I was thinking about something like this. It's just like really boring commercial door, like leaving the back of a restaurant through the kitchen kind of thing. And so there isn't, you don't even put trim on doors like that. That's the thing. Like they're not decorative. On either side, there is no trim, but you do need this frame. So I was going to just draw this, and then this goes right in the wall. Oh, and this one has two with the separate. I was going to maybe make a double version of it. And there is a stoop possibly. So it's really just this it's like this inner frame part without the door in it. Kind of odd. Kind of weird. So am I gonna draw that from a profile? I kind of want to. I think I'm missing that part, but then I have to commit to like what side of the door. If you put the divider in, you have to commit to what side the door is, and that's kind of annoying. Then you have to hinge it from a corner of the door too. It kind of sucks. Like it's just a frame actually. Like very little goes in this. I don't even. Yeah, I guess this is like the door frame width, right? Wait, width is this way, and then we have the depth is called by the wall depth. That's all there is. That's all there. There's just, oh, I made it I called it the folder. I guess I don't even really. I do want to put it in a folder, but it's like I'll just use a divider. This has like so few things in it. I thought this was gonna be way bigger for some reason. This is the door frame width. And then the door doesn't even go in this one like the windows did. Oh well. Okay, so let's pop this thing out. So this might handle the case where there's two doors, or it just doesn't. Like I don't know how this. I have no idea how this is gonna go actually. So I'm gonna make it 2 by 2. So I'll have 2 doors in it. I probably shouldn't do that as the first case. We'll try it. Door depth is actually wall depth, but we'll drive it. That'll be decided by whoever owns this door. Frame width is like very small, like 2 centimeters, something like this. Okay, so we're gonna generate just the frame, and I'll put the door HDAs in it just to look at it, but that's not how it's gonna go to the engine. So I'll make a bounding box. We ended up using this last time. So how are we looking at this object? We want to look at it from this axis, positive XY, and Z is towards us. Okay, so similar setup. Man, do I need hotkeys for this. copy, paste, and depth is Z. We're centered, so we don't have to worry about cyan yet. We'll continue to draw it centered, even though the doors are going to come in. I guess we add the doors after I bring it up. So that's the bounding box of what we're creating, essentially. So we're going to draw a grid around this part, and then loft another grid through there. So it'll just be a box. It could also be a curve instead. I could use my like curve ramp generator thing. But I think that's overkill for this piece, so we'll be okay. So there's our bounding box. We're not even going to really... We don't ship that piece out or export it. It's basically the same setup as the door. I forget how the door is made now. Now that I'm not doing it, I have no idea. It's just the plane. I'm automatically going to flip it so the normal faces me. What am I going to do with this? Oh yeah, this is just... I forget what it needed to be. Was it polygon? I'll figure it out again. So, same thing. Copy parameter here. Oh, we only need like the... I might draw this in Vex. Or an add node. Because I don't want to have to deal with the crap of this. Never mind, we're not using this. I'm going to use an add node. I don't want to have to deal with that. I spent like an entire like hour yesterday like rearranging grid points by hand, and that's probably not how Houdini is meant to do things. Yeah, I'm just gonna now that we do this one, it's way easier. We just need 3 points. 1, 2, 4 points. Okay, so negative this times 0.5. I need a hotkey. Times negative 0.5. Let's turn on the numbers. I guess I'm gonna just jump this up to the top already. Releasing the stream with the fire escapes. I didn't stream that part. I just made that yesterday while watching my kids. I didn't stream that. I'll make other things like that though. I mean that one's pretty straightforward. So we're already building in the... We're already building on like alignment, so I'm gonna just align this one for reference. That's all it is anyway. Times 0.5, yeah, so we'll go up. Holy crap, what was that? What is happening? Sure. So that's the first point. Second point is the same x but a different y, which is just pure height. Over here. Yeah, I wanted to stream it, but like on the weekends I work, but my kids are like with me a lot of the time, so I'm like only like half working. So that's this one. Oh man, this add node. I should have known that. I just didn't think to ever use it like this. I just use it as the beginning of Vex, but this is definitely nice. So just do it this quickly. It gets kind of hard. It's hard to read. It's like because you can't see these, you just have to kind of like guess. But if you're just drawing 4 points like this, it's pretty light. You can probably like access this stuff later out of this node in a pretty easy way. You just ask for like 0.0, etc. So this is gonna be the same x, and then 0. Oh, that was mighty easy. That's lovely. There's your profile. So we'll loft the inner profile of that one. You have a doc on Houdini for the primitive type difference. Probably. Should probably read that. It's like I read that, I have no idea what it means, and then I use it for a while, still don't know what it means, and then at some point the connection gets made in my head and I read it and I'm like, ah, I see. I gotta make something with it. Like the tools get associated with like what I'm making. I'm like, this is like the door frame beveler thing. Like that's how it ends up kind of going down in my head. So we'll just use a grid. We could also use like a fancier profile. Is this actually gonna work? I never remember. I think grids work, and then you do like offset math here. So one of these things is the depth, and one of these things is the frame width. I don't know which one is which, and it depends on how you orient the plane when you're doing it. And we'll find out. My life becomes way less guesswork once I like start to really get used to the axis systems of Houdini. Right now it's a lot of guesswork. So that plane, I believe, needs to be on XY, and you need to flip it 180. They need to be facing me, or else they're flipped when you sweep them. I don't know if I got the proportion correct though. I have no idea. So this is the sweep, and this is the cross section. So that is correct. That is the right way. So I set it up by guessing the right way. And you have to offset the sweep now to have it go inner. It's like an inner extrude, kind of. That would be another way, is inner extruding, but that creates its own issues. I like this sweeping way. I'm gonna offset half the depth in X. Negative X. So negative half of, wait a minute, no, this one. Half of negative this goes here. Times negative 0.5. Yeah, so now we're inside the bounding box. So that's like your inner door frame. So with the doors, yeah, I should go back into the door HD and do like the left and right thing, where I would expect it to be pivoted from like where it spins from, and it makes placing it in this context much easier, right? Because in this one I would put, I guess you should say if you have 1 or 2 doors. There really isn't like a 3-door setup for this. There could be, but I'm thinking like there's 1 or 2 doors for this current frame that I'm making. Especially because our wall is only 4 meters long. I think 3 would be like the max anyway. I don't really know why you would have 3 doors. I guess for like entering like a train station or something with like tons of doors. Why'd you start working in that program? Do you make Hollywood sets before they actually shoot? Is it good money? Do I make Hollywood sets? I use this because I don't have to redo work over and over again by hand. Here I kind of do the math once and then I don't have to ever think about it again. Whereas in Blender or Maya, it's like, you know, even though this is like kind of simple, it's like I have to do this every single time I make a door. And here I just pull out this HCA and it already has it built in, and I just use it like it's a real object. I basically get my like Revit. I could make my own like little like Revit prefabs here, or families they're called in Revit. But I control everything about them at this point. So I've swept this. Placing the door in here is not that easy, but I'll bring one out. So we have that door we just made, CT door panel. So template that one. There it is. Wow, we have all the points on. And yeah, so placing it, it's not that bad. It's, considering it's not going to open. What do I even need this for? What am I even doing here? Like, I guess I'm just going to do this for like posterity, but there's this, I don't really need this. This is going to get separate. I could output this. Actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. I'm going to hook this up to work correctly. My orientation is not as I expected. Oh, no, it's perfect, actually. The exterior is that side. No matter, it's perfect so far. So we'll place this first door. So we're going to transform this. I guess I could try some exporting things I've never done before. You can do this whole thing like pipeline perfectly into Unreal Engine, into the class you're using, hooking up to the Unreal Engine materials you're using. I just haven't gone that far yet. I'm trying to like take baby steps before I like fully automate my whole pipeline, but I think that's like what Houdini is for, is to like make your pipelines better. How am I doing this? So we're going to transform this door to the left a certain amount so we're centered. Makes the math crappy. So that's half the width would move it here. So it's a quarter of the width minus or plus this door depth, I think, something like that. So it's door, well, because we have 2 doors. Oh yeah, so we need like if it's 1 or 2 doors. I'll write the math for 2 doors first, I guess. Because that's what I'm making. Yeah, I guess I'll start that way. We'll have a boolean here though. Is 4.24 live? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not ready to switch yet though. Soon though. Soon I'm gonna switch to 2.3 and then up to 2.4. Supermarkets can have 3. Yeah, I guess I've seen it. I'm gonna stick with 2 and 1 for now. So this thing transforms over into -x to start. Wait a minute, where's the handle? Yeah, this door could have more intuitive controls for like me now, the person trying to use it. It's like too much thinking for me. Like I just want to be like, it's the left door, and it would move its pivot over for me, and then I could move it over in an easier math. But we'll start like this, times -0.5. I don't think it got the negative. So that puts it in the center. And so if we do -2.5, it centers it that way. And we're gonna then add half the door width. No, the full frame width here. And then I have to change the door's width itself. So we're adding it this copy. So it's perfectly placed for a video game door. This door doesn't have hinges, so it's not like it's not like an ArcViz quality door, but hinges just are straight not worth it in games. I built a couple and I was like, it's so much extra geometry and work and like logic to make them spin off the hinge. It's annoying because the door would then spin off and offset from here versus just like right in the middle. It's like, no, thank you. So I'll do that one. So the next issue is that we're building out the double door first. Is the door itself is the wrong dimension. Which it's just door width. It's door width. It's the same number as that transform out pretty much. It's the width divided by 2 minus the width, and then height minus the width as well for the height parameter. So I suppose I'll feed that into it now. So we're making the left door. Yeah, I'll feed it in. I mean, we might as well. So now we drive. These should have been put up at the top outside of it. So I'm going to reparameterize this asset. Like the parent feeding objects need to be outside of these ones. That's how I like the design to look. This object is centered. How is this going to work? Yeah, I'm going to change the base alignments, how the alignments work in the door panel HDA. I don't like this so far. But I'll do the math for it. So it's going to be this times 0.5 minus the width of the frame. That's super wrong. That's interesting. That's the right width now. So what's up with the math for the transform then? What's wrong with this? Where are these numbers coming from? This is where like if I had just pivoted it to the center, it's like I don't have to do any of this like, oh shit. This like happens. I'll be like middle mouse clicking and like I completely break something like this. Like what happened here? Did I just like I think I like dragged some text around somewhere funny. Like what happens? Oh, we're back. I don't know what that is. So we are not centered. We're not positioned correctly. So we did the door width times 0.25. Oh no. See, this is why centered is annoying because it's no, it should be the same though. It's like if we center the door frame width. Oh, wait, what? I should fix the alignment. I don't have to think this hard. So you have the door width. You place it at half, it's going to center. I'm going to just do it by hand again. So we're going to just cut this out. Apply. What? That does it? Wait, what? Oh, it's plus half. Okay, I see. Plus, it's this times 2.5. Now that is actually centered. Yeah. That's the placement math. So annoying. I need to remember that for the other side though. Apply, accept. Okay, fine. I'd like to not have to do that calculation every time. if possible. Oh, it is live? Oh, cool. There's a new global illumination I want to try out. And just I heard ray tracing in general just got faster. Okay, so our height's wrong. Height should be fairly easy. I hope. So it's this one just straight minus this offset of the width of the frame. I take it back. I actually have to use this to export both of these door frames. So these will both end in their own... Actually, I have no idea how this is going to work. Because I have to... These doors get generated by the frame itself. And then I have to export these doors. And I don't know how to do that, actually. But there's the first door. Properly scaled in place to be within this frame. And we're not going to put like a divider. I'm just going to have them like right next to each other. So then we have the same thing over here. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to flip the handle to be the other side. Now that looks super weird. Why did it jump up in the air? Is this because of the height offset? Oh. I implemented flipping in a bad way because there's like the height offset. It's mirroring across. It's mirroring up on Y somewhere. So I gotta fix that. I can counter it, but that's not gonna. I shouldn't have to change height to counter it. I don't even know how I'm gonna do that actually. But anyway, here's this door. So this position might be just the negative of this, maybe. I'm not sure. The expression's getting like too long. It's hard to read. Yeah, that is exactly it. And the door is exactly the same. Let's merge them. Ah, okay. Oh, and I didn't flip the... Yeah, so I haven't designed the doors to be that good. Like this needs to flip too. Yeah. I should just negative scale the whole door. That's all that needs to happen, and then flip the normals if that isn't done automatically. We just take the door and literally scale it. I don't have to switch the handle because I have to switch the back too. So I could technically just do that, like mirror this. But then how do I get the mesh out? I don't really know. I think I don't actually make 2 doors. I think I just mirror this on X. And that does it for me. Yeah, that's it. Now, I don't have this as a separate... Those have to be 2 meshes in Unreal Engine. I suppose in Unreal, you don't even mirror it. You just bring in one of these doors and flip it there. But to look at it, we'll keep it like this, though. It's fine. Yeah, so the export path for this is a little funny. Yeah, we just straight mirror it and it flips the normals back. Okay, so we'll take this now. This one's more confusing because I have to break it out into different static meshes. So this is the door frame that would go inside of a wall opening. And so we made it 2 by 2. Oh, we only made the version that has 2 doors. So let me make the Boolean for it. This will be helpful. Gonna say it's a Boolean. I just want 1 or 2. So we'll call it double door. Just this like door, double bool, 2 doors. This. And so this is the merge. So this is 1/2 of it. So we'll do a switch. If there's 2 doors, that one's true. And now we make the single door version of it, which will still have a transform. It's still something like that. I'll do them one at a time though. So let's template this. Look at this one. Oh, we're not switched. So I will actually... We'll kill that first. So if there's just one door, it's... We just change the width to be door width full minus 2 of... I need to get into expression view. I can't see this. So we'll do the full width minus 2 of the door frame widths. Should get us there. So that's one gigantic door, but you would make the frame smaller. That should do it. And it's the same height. I think that's it. Now, what? It's centered. Yeah, it's just a centered door then. Yeah, that's the single door version of it. Flop those. Merge it back in. Doesn't like that for some reason. Something... Probably because this is UV'd or something. I got to UV it, normal it. So in this case, we have to hook up 2 doors here, copy parameter into this switch. Looking at this one now. Oh, that looks crazy. It's just because the door is being stretched so far. But we can make it 2 doors or 1. Like that. And if it's 1, it would make sense to be like this. Oops, like that. So it's like 1 door. But I can still use this generator if I want to make like a slightly wider one and make it 2. Like this. So getting this back to Unreal now is a different story. But I'll try to figure that out. Because that's the goal. Okay, so this thing, first of all, needs normals. Default should be completely fine for a box. Quick shade it. So I can see what's going to happen. And we'll just do a project. Like a just straight. I don't even need the SOPs one. I guess I'll use it. I'll use the new one. Or the labs one, rather. I'm just going to do UV unwrap. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, we'll just switch this to axis aligned and that'll... I don't even have to look at it. I know that's going to be fine. Yeah, so that's normal. That's UV'd. Doesn't have a material assigned to it. So is this going to get exported on its own? It's not. This is still owned by something else. Oh, this is confusing. The fact that the door is like... On all the other assets so far, the final HDA ships everything. That's not the case here. I have to have, like, the doors turned off or something. Oh, this is complicated. I don't know how to do this. I need to, like, break... I need to break these doors out and somehow export them separately. Switch this order. Order does matter. Doesn't affect anything here, but... I found that out yesterday making the fire escape. Oh. Okay, so this is still not owned by... This doesn't go out on its own like this. And then these don't even go to it either. But I need those door dimensions. I don't know how to do this. And this is another material ID that we just added to the mesh. Now, wait, let me look at the reference again. So yeah, I think we said that... Oh no, this one does have trim. Or is that not trim? Is that just like a gigantic inner border? Like it doesn't trim outside of its bounding blocks. It's just that like this is like bigger. Like that. That's like what these like kind of doors are. It's like this. Have you used Revit? Yeah. Yeah, I've used it a little bit. BIM. Want to learn Houdini? Any suggestions? Pick something you want to make. That's the first part. Okay, so yeah, Revit's nice because you don't have to make the families. You just you just download them and like they just do this by default. You know. Different use case though. I mean, I have a wall. I have the wall generator somewhere. So the problem is like when I export this, so like basically the next step is that we go to the final asset for me, which is there's a wall that owns this frame and we decide how big it is and it pumps the parameters into this. And then it's going to export the wall and the inner frame, but it doesn't export the doors, but it needs to tell the doors what to be. So it's kind of like I don't. And then I need to export the doors, one door if there's two separately. If there's like all these like if switches, and I don't know how to do that like in one HDA. It's going to be like a little bit more like manual exporting, like from Maya and Blender. So that's too bad. I don't even know what the next step is actually. So it's like I'm gonna put this in a wall, and then I have a trim in it. And then I guess I commit the size, the rough opening, and then I come and I plug that like into this one, and then I export like one door. It's weird. It's like kind of hard. Or I could just make doors that don't open for now. That would be actually none of the doors do open. I guess that's the cheesy way to do it for now. Is I actually do push this whole mesh out from this becomes an HDA now. And then how much of this door stuff do I expose back up to the... Wait a minute, can I just do... Oh, no, that's wrong, no. So I guess I assign materials now? And there's materials in this subnet? I'm getting confused now, actually. Because this should have its own material on the way out of here. I don't know how this is going to work. I haven't done like triple HDAs yet. I've only done like one HDA inside of like I've done this where you put like an HDA in this and export that one. I haven't done like the next level of like Inception, but I'll try it. So this is gonna be called mat group door frame. So I can apply the material now, or I can apply it later. Output on the merge here. We haven't applied the material yet. Should I apply it? I don't really know. I'm gonna say output door frame. I think I spelled that wrong. Super wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna try to put this into an HDA. What's this box? This is my bounding box. I don't need that anymore. Right, so this just generates the trim, and it gives me a boolean of 1 or 2 doors, and then it drives the 2 doors correctly. That's all this handles. And then this high level goes into the wall object, and you just tell it that, the frame width and the 2 doors, and you essentially lose control over these doors unless I promote these up to this interface, which we could as well. We probably should. But that doesn't allow me to export them as actually separate meshes. Okay, so I'm gonna pack this into an HDA, and this might not be the way to do this, but I just gotta kind of keep trying this until it works for my pipeline. Because to get this back out, I don't know how I'm gonna get these doors, other than manually coming in and typing these numbers back into the parameters, which would be kind of annoying. So we subnet this whole thing slowly, and this is a CT door frame 01. HDA it. CT. Do I not have any of these? Door frame 01. I called it a window generator at this phase. I'll just call it door frame though. It'll be okay. Any external references? We doing bad stuff? Now we're okay. So we'll just expose back. Oh, I could expose them right out of here, can I? I'm not gonna do that at the moment, but I could probably drag those over here. But we'll take door width, height, depth. I'm gonna put the separator. And then this and that bool. Accept. So that should be saved. Okay. So that's its own HDA. So I have now a wall generator that wants that in it if I can find it, and if it I don't remember how it works. Houdini doors? Door hip? Is this it? No, that's what I mean now. This is door hip. Where was this thing? Is it in wall windows? Cornice. FBX. This is a mess in here already. It must be this. This one must have a wall. I started storing like a bunch of HDAs all in one hip file. I see. Okay, so turn off that one. Turn off the window generator. Here's the wall door. Here it is. Here we go. Okay. Right, it has a just terrible pediment on it. But we didn't have a door piece for it. So now I do. So we'll hop into this one. We have the UCXs all set up. That's like such a pain in the ass. It's great to have that done already. And those are the output UCXs. And what is this? So this is an HDA for the window dressing. So it needs to kind of have its parameters played with, but it generates like all the pediments and Greek geometry. This is the wall group. And then we merge. So I'm going to, in this case, cut this off. And we just get the wall with the UCXs created. And so here we grab our thing that we just made, which is the door frame of 1, and we put it in there. And that gets exported. But it's got to have some stuff done to it. So let's grab the main door controls here. Pop this thing out here. And we parameterize. So transform. So do we have a template going on somebody? That's template this one. We're viewing the transform door. So given that this is the interior, we want to spin it positive 90, I think. Nope. Negative 90. That's the interior. And then we have to line up the HDA's numbers here. So we have wall width is actually door depth. I don't know why I went in this order. That's fine. And then door width here is door width here. And I try to get these names correct so that they're just like copy and pastes across. I did door width, not door height. There, so now it's popped into there nicely. So I'm going to generate the double door. That's the one I'm mostly interested in. So I'm going to do 2 by... Yeah, 2.5 is pretty good. Pretty good height for a commercial door. A little tall. It's a little bit tall looking at our dude, but 2.5. I have to kind of like standardize eventually because I started to make like awnings and fire escapes, and so you kind of commit to a dimension to make that stuff line up perfectly later on. Okay, so now we start to care about materials right about now. And currently I don't see any, but sometimes looking at the output, no, I'm still have no materials. How could that possibly be? It's because this is failing, right? What's up with this merge? What's your problem? That's fine. It's this one. I think this is killing all of them. So I'm going to kill the trim group here. So minus, does that work? You shouldn't have any errors now. Material. No material. This is no errors. But I don't see them either. I don't see the material. But this asset's technically ready to go. Like this is, I'm just looking to make like a really basic double door. It's kind of weird. But this could be like the entrance, like the back entrance to a club or something like that. If it doesn't have any like ornamentation or like a sign above it or an awning, it's just like a pretty bare bones door. I need to assign materials and I'm getting none of those. So there's definitely materials in here. Holy shit. This is what happens if you put all your HDAs into one file. You have like all the different material palettes, so a little overwhelming. 1, 2, 1, 2. Plus, it should inherit all the ones from in there, I think. But I don't see anything now. Is that because we're not seeing materials? That's why. Okay, so we're seeing the collision objects as well, so that's not good. So I don't know how it's going to handle this because we have this object subnet of materials, plus this one never got assigned. I shouldn't have deleted that material. I'm going to try to grab this frame group and apply it from this one here. Let's make a new one. So do I have access to, it should be called like mat group frame or something like that. Yeah, mat group door frame. Okay, good. And I'll apply, we're in, oh God, which one is this? Wall door, wall geo, wall door mat net, door trim. That's perfect for some reason. But I didn't see it applied. Oh, because we're not viewing it. There we go. Now, they're both red, but they're different names. So they should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 materials when I export this back to UE4. And this would be pretty usable. And I can still, it's all parametric. I can still rock like, you know, how much I want from this. 2 is not very wide given a double door, so it's probably more like a 2.25, something like that. I can come back and just keep exporting. So let's see if this works. And the way the collisions are set up, I should be able to just walk right through the doors. They don't open, but there's no collision for them, which makes selecting them annoying because you select through the door. But okay, so jumping back out, we still have our collisions, and it's this one now. It's this wall door network. So I'm gonna export that to Unreal Engine and try it. Export film box. Okay, we gotta pick a name for this thing. What folder are we in? I have no idea. This is a wall type. Yeah, so it's wall type 8. H type is my Houdini types. Yeah. Accept, and I gotta pick the right object, which is the wall door. Double click it. And export. So we'll see. We'll see how this first round goes. I gotta boot up the engine though. That's cool that 2.4's out. I could switch now. I don't have anything logic-wise that I'm working on. This is all just like content pumping, like 3D stuff. But yeah. I don't know if I want to. We're still a 2.2 project. I haven't even done 2.3. Because I was programming, like before I got into this like Houdini phase, I was like hardcore programming for like 3 or 4 months or something. So you don't want to update during a programming sprint, but I don't know what I would anticipate breaking on this update. We're pretty clean. I have a little bit of C++ that's gonna probably need to get updated for 2.3 or 2.4. They've been saying I needed to update it since 18. I haven't had to yet. So they won't deprecate C++ stuff for a very long time, it looks like. But that's the main thing that holds it back. And it takes up a lot of disk space to duplicate my project. I don't think I have enough at the moment. I need to go get like some more hard drives. I could probably clear up some space, some of the backups. I do builds like every single day and backups every day, so it's like I have like just like terabytes and terabytes of terabytes of like these like really old versions I'll never revert to. They're kind of a waste, but kind of defeats the purpose of any backing up if I delete those, so go buy like a couple 8 terabyte hard drives, start filling those up again. So this will work for the doors at the moment, which is, they'll look good. I can make good looking ones, but to make the functioning ones, I need to figure out the pipeline to generate that, but then be like, click something on the HDA that's like, oh, but actually take the doors out and then split them and then export those doors on their own somehow. I don't know how that would work. Because the HDA itself is SOP level, so it doesn't do the collisions, it doesn't do like the top level subnetwork, so I might have to continue learning like Python and figure out how to like actually automate the exporting of this kind of stuff. Because it'd be really good if that door asset would then, it would generate 2 meshes. It would generate the door and the wall with it. Oh, I have to do them by hand, one by one. It's not that bad, I guess. Okay, so we'll go single monitor for a little bit. Is it 9? Is that what I just created? Looks like it. Ooh, whoa, no. No, 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 no. Never mind, we have a 9. What is this? What? What is that? Is that the subway door? That's like Houdini from like 2 weeks ago. I had no idea what I was doing back then. Is it this? Oh, here it is. Yeah, H type. Okay, okay. No collision. No materials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we were looking for. And it's transparent through the back. It's single-sided, but then solid from the front. This looks good. This looks usable. So I'm gonna make the child class for it and test it. So this is now wall. We have a ton of walls, and I named them all terribly. This is like wall 15. We're on the 15th wall variation. Some of the other ones I gotta delete though. They're really ugly. They were like the first things I made in Houdini. So I need 5 of these to reset the material after building it. And let's switch the mesh out. Those are pretty much the materials I want, minus this tiles one. I haven't made an awning material, so they have like shiny tiles on them. Looks fine. It looks fine actually. So we're gonna grab, where'd you go? It's this one. Yeah, so a little bit of chaos on the materials now. So it's gonna go, oh, actually I have no idea. Bricks, I have no idea on the orders. So what's this chrome one? Let's look at the front. That is the door frame, so I'll make that one. I kind of have like a metal material. The awning turned out to be the door frame itself. We'll also make that metal. Then it's probably glass, which is I have like a terrible glass material that I need to update. Oh, it's just like a straight chrome ball, so it's really bad. This one, yeah. Where'd it go? That one. That's my windows. And now, what is that? That's hardware. I guess I'll also make that the steel material. This is expensive object material wise. We have a lot of materials on it, a lot of draw calls. Where is this stuff? There it is. So I could probably like unify this together a bit. Depends on how I want to do the materials for this object in the end. There we go. So it's a door. It's like no substance painter yet. No fancy high poly. No distress map stuff. Cool stuff. Okay. So this one there. This one goes there. Getting lost. That one goes there. This one here. This one there. Okay, so this one's testable. It's the same wall class as all the other ones, so I shouldn't have to like change any of the snapping parameters. This all should just work. So we can test it. How long has this been? 3 hours? Not bad. 3 hours. As long as we end up with an asset in Unreal Engine. That's the goal. Now you are going to be one of the industrial blueprints and the 15th one. I gotta go make icons for all the final ones I'll ship in this next update. So this is gonna be facade door. Is it the first door? No, there's other ones. I just didn't name these right. I don't name until I have like the icons and the final set. I think that's good. Okay. First little compile of this of the day or launch of the day. Okay. So this is where we left off. Let me kill this camera. So I made these called coins. Made the top trim, this window, and the fire escape was yesterday too. So the main offender is that this door is ridiculous. It's like just testing it. I was testing when I built that one. So I wanted to start to make some nicer looking doors. Ah, it's backwards, so I gotta place it the other way. These stairs are not exactly for this set either, but there we go. So same idea here. They're just full see-through, no transparency, very easy to render. They're just no clip. The collision's just here. That's good. And that's how I've been doing doors for a while. And on this side, again, the materials are not designed for this, but they're just like, you know, seamless material. Door handle height looks pretty good. We just go straight through it. Door handle height's pretty good. And overall, I think it matches. Like, it looks like the secret entrance of a club. Oh, you know what? That's the wrong material. That should be glass. So let me save this. And what happened? 15. What happened to you? I screwed up the material assignments. So what number are you? Number element. I don't know. Whatever. This one has got to go here. Right, let's zoom out. No, it's the second to last, so it's this one. Uh-oh, wait, what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That one says chrome. What's going on here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beam, chrome, beam, bricks. I never changed the number. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's why. It's being overwritten by this one. There we go. That'll do it. It should even, when I come back in, it should be correct. Yeah, there we go. Great. So ridiculous. If I just grime up this glass at all, it'll look a lot better. But we're just getting like kind of funky screen space reflections. Ray tracing in the current, I haven't updated my NVIDIA Studio driver, so if I ray trace that reflection, it's gonna flicker. It means it's time to update the drivers. I could test it, but I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen again. Oh, well, we're okay for the moment. Ooh, slow as fuck, but yeah. So there's a ray trace reflection. Sometimes this freaks out with this current NVIDIA driver. Sometimes it's okay. So it's a shiny door. Because we're not going to actually do glass just yet until I make like I need to make it so that the user can like change between high quality glass and this, essentially. Like this will work if you never go inside, like it's really a facade, it's completely fine with like a dirt map on it. But if you're trying to like do a scene where you're looking inside, then it actually needs transparency. But default, you wouldn't want it to be the expensive one. So that's what this currently is. So that's like a perfect commercial door to me. I mean, that looks just like a, you know, the material's a little effed up, and you don't even like, so like with the right material, you even adding that extra detail to this, you don't even see it. It's just like, it's not a big deal. The handle looks okay. These windows are made with a window generator. It's very similar to this piece, and I think that is how I'm going to ship doors for now, because I haven't decided how I want the user to like open them or have them opened. So there's the door. It is almost the same height. If I made this the same height as that one, I could stick an awning on there, which would look good. Or we could make like a front awning. I might make awnings separate objects. I'm not sure yet. They're currently all part of the same piece there. But I think for my community, if I make the awnings a separate object, no one will use them. So it's better to just like kind of force them into like a certain preset. Because like I think if I was like building a set real quick, like a building exterior, like I wouldn't take the time either. I would just like throw it up there. But if it comes for free, if it's just like, oh, just make the wall awnings, then I'd still use it. I guess I didn't save the set I built yesterday, because I built like this whole I built each corner out so I could film it a little bit better. But yeah, so the fire escape is cool. I'm kind of building out like first floor level stuff, and you could still technically like, like color the first floor differently than this is pretty common. I mean that's subtle, but like the first floor is like a different color than the upper floors in a lot of cases in New York. Paint the little coins differently. I don't know if these would change. But yeah, this entire building is Houdini at this point. Pretty sure. Yeah, the wall windows, the frames, the awning, the entire thing is procedural. So I could also throw this into like one big Houdini script and generate the whole building in Houdini, but like that's not how my game works, so that doesn't really do me anything. Also, I think it would crush my computer. I don't think you could never like smoothly slide it and generate all these. They all have UVs on them and stuff. You would probably type in the parameter and it would take like 10 seconds to generate the building. So let's see, what's on my... so really I need more doors, like, because the only door I currently have that matches this set is this one, and I'm not shipping this piece of garbage. This was like a test. But this one's fine. Very, like, boring commercial doors, just like this window is. But it fits right in there. Looks pretty normal. That's the idea, is like you don't notice it. It just looks like... Is that Russian? I do not speak the Russian. Okay, so we made a door frame panel. Oh, I was gonna make a warehouse rolling door, but I want it in blueprints to be able to like animate itself like rolling up, which is not... I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And then I was gonna start making terrains actually. So I should make like another door. I was gonna make stoops. I was gonna make like a brownstone one because this is all very commercial. Let me build this off set actually. How did I bring that in? I must have restarted. So let me look at it on its own. So it's the facade door. I gotta rename these and screenshot them for the good ones. Let's look at the awning. And I don't know which ones of these are good. It doesn't help that they're all the same temporary icon, but... Wait, no, don't do that. Let's just look at it on the flat itself. So door... Ah, it's flipped too. Okay, well, because like it wants to be... I make the exterior set so that you place them from the outside. Yeah, that one. I don't think I like that one enough. I don't really like these windows either. They need a little bit more like design work on them. But these are like the best of the Houdini set so far. They're still very bare bones. Like they don't have materials. None of them are substance painted, but like they're kind of working together as like a set. I'll probably common line the bottoms and probably the tops. So like if I make this awning a separate object, you could add this awning to this, which would look ugly, but you could do it. And given that, you should be able to put this awning here too, because awnings over doors is a thing. They should probably be separate objects, but not sure. Just the thank you part I understood. Everything else though I don't know how to read that. Huh. But yeah, so this has been about 2 weeks of Houdini. Yesterday was my 2-week point, and we generated this whole building. That's not bad. That's not bad. And so going back and making these is all art. There's like, you know, all the technical is solved. It's just like, well, I want this window a little bigger. Let's change the shape of this piece, etc. I don't have to UV anything. I don't have to change anything. It's just sliding parameters, sliding sliders around until it looks good. Right, I can come back here and be like, you know what, I want this height. I want this door to match that height. I just go type it in, make it taller. I don't know how tall that is. It's probably 3, right? That's probably 3 right there. I made this 2.8. I don't know. Go look. I think I'm going to regenerate that door at 3. So let's see what we did here. Oh my god. Agent cam. Just crazy. Just did that on its own. I mean, I technically clicked it. So the door height is 2.5. So if I make it 3, that is very tall. That breaks it into like a different level of something. And now the door handles are a little bit funny, so we'd have to go back and where are these things? Door frame. Okay, so here's the thing, like the door frame, I didn't expose these up to the door HDA, so I guess I should do that. I also didn't... Oh, I exposed this though, right? I could make a single door. Let's make a single door. Just to keep messing with things here. So we'll make this 1.25. That's a very, very tall door. 3 meters is like 10-foot tall door. Doesn't make any sense, actually. But that's where the windows are. This is kind of useless. I don't want this. What was the height before? 2.5. 2.5 felt better. Let's make a single 2.5 door. I'll put that one. So I gotta go back and expose the just more controls up to the top HDA. So export this, same path, number 10. You could technically do that iteration in like if I brought the HDA into Unreal Engine. I don't like that though, for like multiple reasons. But it is possible. It's it makes a mess though. It like makes all these materials and like I just don't like it. At some point I'll probably figure out how to do it nicely, but I'm okay with just importing a couple meshes at a time if I need to. Alright, so that's that single door, but still it has handles on it now. So that's nice. Yeah, and as I keep iterating like the door inner part, like make that more detailed, I can just let me go get that by hand. Did I even make it yet? Did I make this? What is this? This is 15. What did I just... No, we haven't made it. I haven't made it yet. Here's 15. Where are you? It orders them funny. Duplicate. So this is 16 now. I can just keep like exporting new versions of it and just like swapping out the mesh. So like if I make this entire thing again, but I've like my door HDA now has like locks and stuff like that, I just re-export it right into here. As long as the materials didn't change. But coming up with new iterations now is like easy. Much, much faster. Where are you? You are this one, 10. We're doing 16. So this should be the same materials. It's possible that it's not, but I'll find out. Nope, we're good. Same material setup. So the single door. The glass looks like absolutely ridiculous like this, but still probably gonna ship this version of it. So that's 16. Just gotta screenshot it later. We're not selecting it. 16. Facade door 2. Same stand-in one, and we'll say warehouse. These are definitely going to get their own category. Be busted out of the warehouse tab. Facade 2 and facade 1. So I'll make this one. This one needed like a door, so it's like... There's the double. Okay, we got to do it from the inside. Oh. This. Yeah, that's a door. We do come up with the fact that my sidewalk is like way off the ground, but it's not great. But it's just a compromise of how the system works currently, for simplicity. It just needs like an awning or a, you know, the exterior would get some sort of treatment unless it's like a back door. Like this door looks perfect for like here. Oop, that's too close. Like if we're in the back of the building, actually there wouldn't be glass. It would just be a sheet metal door. But that's kind of like what this is. It's like there's no dressing on it. It's not meant to be seen by the public from the front. It wouldn't have glass. It would just be straight metal. And you just, you know, it's the back door to the kitchen or the back door to the hallway or something like that. Whereas like any door facing the street is going to have at the minimum like an awning or like, you know, could have a rolling metal gate, have an awning. There's like there's a ton of different types of awnings that we could stick on this thing, or a sign and a little lock, you know. We'll get all that stuff worked into the next couple months. But that, I mean, that makes this set like kind of save it. Like I'll probably ship, like I'll delete all this stuff, but I'll ship like that whole building. This setup right here, that's like its own prefab that comes without the people in it. And then clean up however many new pieces we made. I think it's like 8 or something. Not all of these are coming out, but all the pieces that make up this building come out together. The fire escape's especially cool, I think. Like there's a lot of... I've been wanting to have these in the game for a while. I had some like marketplace ones, but they're weird. They don't fit correctly. I don't know what... I could never get them to snap all that nicely. I think they made them, but they like weren't like all that great at the design. Whereas like this one... Actually, what I have to do for this is... what we ship is that this part plus the stair down without this bottom one. That's what you give, and that's how you tile them up. And then you have to give one of these platforms without the stairs and this hole filled for the bottom one with a ladder on it. So this isn't quite ready. I could give this. You just can't do more of the stories, but it would be top one without the bottom, and then just the bottom one with a regular ladder on the side. So I have to go make that, and then that would be like, you know, pretty reasonable. I screwed up with this. You can see put the mesh right against the edge, so it's you fighting right to camera. It's not great. Oh, so ray tracing's not freaking out today. It's completely random. I have no idea when it works, when it doesn't. So like I should maybe be able to. Yeah, I couldn't do this yesterday. It was flickering, but ray traced shadows from the sun on an object that has that much itty bitty pieces of geometry. The ray tracing looks so good, whereas the cascade shadow is very blurry and loses resolution unless you crank it, unless you crank the cascade samples or whatever's controlling that. But this looks really nice, ray traced. I wish I could have ray traced this for yesterday. Oh, lens flare. But yeah, so I mean, like I need doors, and then I need to kind of like have like a think on how I want to approach materialing this set here, because there's a lot of different pieces on here, and if I'm gonna substance painter each variation, that's like a week of substance painter work, and that's for very little gain. Because like from back here, if this was perfectly substance painted with like cracks and like smooth edges and individual detailing, it's cool from like here, but from here there's no point. So it's like I have to figure out what the balance is. The windows look really bad without like I think like individual like kind of like edge dirt maps, so like that's the windows are probably worth substance painting, but everything else I don't know if it's worth it, because they're just all having the same like crappy metal and stone material put on them right now, and they look almost fine. I think probably like another month of building like exterior pieces in these big pieces, like, you know, mixed staircases that aren't like this big and ridiculous. Another month of like walls, doors, floors, stairs, you know, all that stuff that I want to get done. Then we move to the inside and we start to build out like parametric shelves and cabinets and all the things that dress the inside of it, but they'll snap. We need these parts first, because like this kind of defines what the interior bounds are. So I'll make like parametric, you know, like shelves that you can just add all the different variations into it. Parametric ceiling parts that you can have like, you know, exposed beams and like drop ceilings and pipes and all that shit. So I think like 2 months or something like that, I would have like an entire residential and city set, exterior and interior, pretty good. And then it's time to move on to fixing the cameras and the actors again, and probably would not be using Houdini for that. I could try a little bit of animation in Houdini. That looks very cumbersome, but maybe it's okay. Another Lucent Dev dude's doing it. Yeah, what time is it? 11:36. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna end this one here. We got a door made. We made 2 doors. We made 2. I'll look at them again real quick. This is for my VOD review later. What have we done? So I think I did this before. We have these 2. Facade with an awning. These are the 2 windows. Look at these this way. Now we'll look at this way. This one will flip. The same. Yeah, that's not bad. These don't match. Like these match. Like these are kind of like first floor looking assets. These are weird. I was just testing stuff with them. I don't think they're like final. Also, my material doesn't actually tile, which is sad. But those windows aren't final. I don't like those either. That's the same window that's over there. That's not. They're close. They're not great. So I'll spend a little bit more time curving these out and just tweaking the parameters to make them nice. This is made with the window generator. It's not the best, but it feels like a window. That's all that matters. So I'll make a different version of that. Oh, I want like a door that like insets as well. Kind of like a more like residential version of this thing. Actually, let me see the trim over here. Sometimes there are not trims that big necessarily, but there's like a trim between the first floor and the window, and then the window's right against it. I think I still have that hotbar. This one, yeah, it doesn't quite work because the trim's too big. But a trim that would like perfectly, this is what I need to start like standardizing. It would go right up to the bottom of the window. A version of that trim piece, which is parametric. I can just type the height lower. That would be useful as well. Without the corbels either, it's just like the drops of the teeth, and then like a little bit of like a profile on that piece. I think this trim is 1 meter tall, so I would do one that's like 40. If it's not in the game, it's basically if it's not 1 meter, it's 40 or 20 centimeters. So that trim would be helpful there. And then yeah, I'll break these. I mean, these are literally polygons, but like they're like it's a cube. I think I'll probably make a couple awnings that are on their own, like single width centered awnings for this here. And then this set's pretty good if I fix those windows like that. You can build a lot with it. Ugh. Just gonna look at these doors one more time. So it's quite tall. It's 2.5. Handle's in a good place given our character height. Like his hand is like right there. Looks pretty good. And then like any of the external trim dressing is its own HDA already. That's basically like all this dressing stuff. I could just snap it right on that one if I wanted to give it like a ornate one. But that's not like a fancy front door. It's like supposed to be like a shitty back door kind of thing. I should probably make a non-glass one too. Yeah, not seeing through it really defeats the purpose of like what those tinted glass doors are for. It's supposed to be like so you can like see through them and it's like inviting. But like this one's just like a flat, weird ass screen space reflection. I guess this is more the. I see this is fighting. This is more like the angle, because it's completely see through on that side. The materials aren't really helping us out here. They're kind of weird. But like overall the scale is about right. It feels like a normal door because they're in the background. It's like that's all these are. They're just dressing, set dressing. Am I still ray tracing the shadow? I think I am. How my frames per second doing over here? Pretty good. Shadows are pretty much production ready, even in 4.22. Cool. Oh yeah, the road systems. Yeah, I got a lot. When I come back to the roads, I'll probably make these all in Houdini. Maybe. These are all UV'd like very specifically, so I don't know if I can do that. That might be too hard. I might just do that in Blender or Maya. The curbs are a pain in the ass. Because they all pull from the same material sheet. Okay. Well, cool. That's gonna wrap it. I'll see you what is today? It's the beginning of the week, yeah? Damn. I'll be back tomorrow.